we're reassessing after the kidney stones. Doing what?
The Lucky Charms is after this reassessment.
It's part of the complete breakfast
the timeline gets a little blurry.
Got it.
The timeline gets a little blurry. But I have been eating Cheerios and bananas.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Sugar?
No sugar.
Okay, that's good.
Honey nuts or standard?
Standard. Yeah. I feel like that's the pinnacle of health, is being like, I'm just going to eat these standard yellow box Cheerios.
It's raw dogging Cheerios.
Yeah. On today's Part of My Take, we have an awesome interview with Gilbert Arenas. We're talking his career, his new Netflix Untold Story, playoff basketball with him. We also might have a couple special guests jump on at various times, whether it be Knicks Celtics or Fyre Fest. So you got to tune in for that. We're going to talk playoffs, hockey, NBA. We got a new pope. He's American. We have George Pickens on the Cowboys. And we're going to finish with Fyre Fest. So a great Friday show for everyone. It's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. UFC 315 is almost here. We've got 2 title fights with Muhammad versus Della Maddalena and Valentina Shevchenko and versus Manon Fiorot. And I've got just one question for you. Are your bets in? If not, look no further than DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of UFC. It's a massive fight night you won't want to miss, and your chance to cash in is just a pick away. New to UFC betting, no worries. Start simple. Choose a fighter to win and place your bet. That's it. And if you're brand new to DraftKings, here's something big. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Step into the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to score $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by DraftKings. Step into the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to score $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Today is Friday, May 9th, and PFT, I'm starting to think that Steph Curry is important to the Warriors.
Yeah, he came out there for the shoot-around. He tried to pull the okey-doke on us. But I think that Draymond knew at the start of the game that Steph – like he wanted to get out of this game.
Oh,
it's
so
one of those
bad.
things where like he knows that Steph's not going to be playing. He knows it's not going to be competitive. So Dre tries to get a tech like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the ref's face being like, fuck you, asking you to get kicked out because he knows that Steph's not playing.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. So Draymond Green did for the 7,000th time the move where he just flails his arms and legs at an opponent like he's having a full body spasm. This is a world-class athlete who has incredible body control, but somehow this keeps happening to him. I actually feel bad. He should probably see a doctor about this affliction. But afterwards, you mentioned it. He yelled at the refs. I think the refs were just scared of Draymond because he gets his technical like right away, and then and then the refs like just tune him out for the rest of the game. It's crazy. I think they're just scared to kick him out of a game.
Here's how it went down. He flails his arms, gets the tee that he wanted. Then the ref goes up to him. He's like, I'm not going to kick you out, Draymond. And he's like, fucking kick me out. Fuck you. Do it. Fuck you. And the ref's like, sorry, you can keep cussing all you want. You're not getting ejected from this game. You got to play.
Yeah, your punishment is to have to play without Steph Curry in a playoff game. And that was punishment because the Wolves were so much better than the Warriors tonight. There just was no, like, the Warriors just couldn't, they didn't have enough offense. And the Wolves, like, even with Anthony Edwards, which there was a second there where I thought we were going to watch Wolves Warriors with no Anthony Edwards and no Steph Curry, and it was going to be the biggest bummer of all time. But he went out for, like a quarter or so. He came back in the second half. So the Wolves, even without Anthony Edwards, they got all their other guys to step up. Like Julius Randle stepped up big time. Jay McDaniel stepped up. Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 20. So the Wolves feel like they're back on track a little bit here, especially if Steph's not going to play. Because I don't know I don't know how the Warriors win this series without Steph. Actually, I'll just say it. The Warriors will not win this series without Steph.
They don't win the series without Steph for sure. I think that the Wolves without Ant would be favored in Minnesota. I'd say by 5.5 points over the Warriors without Steph.
Yeah. And we had let's see that Jaden McDaniels that block and dunk was awesome. I mean, the crowd was into it. Yeah. It was good. It was good to see the Timberwolves get back on track. By the way, I should have mentioned to start. Obviously, we record the beginning. We recap the Thursday night games from Zoom. Hank is on this episode. We're going back to the studio after we start the show because I some people might skip the intro and just see that Hank's not here and like, wow, what a coward. No, he is not a coward. He is on this show. And we have a couple special guests, including Gilbert Arenas, but a couple extra special guests when we get back in studio. So just wanted to set that. He
also might be a coward and be on the show. That's another option too.
Yeah, it could be both. It could be both. But yeah,
Means agrees. It's in this case, like I think that Steph is actually going to come back sooner than we think that he is. I wouldn't be shocked if he tried to play in their next game because he knows. And with the team they've got right now, he feels like he's been saying like this feels like the last dance type thing that we're trying to do right now. I think he's going to try to come back maybe too soon. I hope not too soon. I hope he's able to play and play healthy because I like watching Steph play. But it's like, it's like getting a blowjob, Big Cat. That's what I would say about that. But I do think that he's going to give it a shot and try to play sooner than he probably should. And we'll see if it works out from there.
Yeah, I feel like he might play Saturday. I feel like they might just like be like, hey, let's just try to win this game Saturday without him. And then Monday, it's if you go down 2-1, Monday it's like you need him, and then if you can get it tied, then you have a little bit of a break. Like there's the Wednesday game, but then there's a little break all the way till Sunday. The NBA scheduling makes no sense. They're playing every other night until Wednesday, and then the next game is Sunday. So I don't understand that. But yeah, I want to see Steph back out there. I mean, I think the Timberwolves are very good. I think they can beat Steph. They beat the Warriors with Steph. It's just that when Steph's not there, there's a 0% chance.
Yeah, no chance at all for the Warriors. Jimmy Butler can do anything and everything that he wants to do, and he can have a great game without Steph for sure. But again, like the whole team is going to be limited without one of the best players of all time.
Yeah. We also, what did the Wolves finally shot well from three. So they fixed it. They had a 2-game stretch where I think we mentioned on Wednesday shows 17% and 14%. They were very good from three tonight. So that's an encouraging sign for the Wolves and feel like they're back on track. Like a 1-1. They did kind of what the Thunder did. And we're going to get to that, but like you're the higher seed, you have home court, you can't lose the first two. And they won this one in convincing fashion. They can go to Golden State and be like, all right, we can do this.
The thing about Steph Curry and how big of a difference he makes is it's actually crazy, especially against a team like the Timberwolves, where I think you could put Steph on any team in the NBA and they would be able to win at least one game in a 7-game series. Like obviously it'd be 5. That's how big a difference it makes because he'll have one where he just goes nuclear. He doesn't miss anything. And then the whole spacing on defense is thrown off because you have to account for the outside shooting. And then they can get 1, maybe even 2 games off most teams with Steph Curry.
Maybe not the really bad teams.
Maybe not the Wizards.
Maybe not the Sixers.
Maybe not the Sixers. Well, the Sixers, if Steph Curry played on the Sixers, they would rest him.
Yeah, that's the difference. He probably would just get injured.
Yeah.
All right, so PFT, like I said, we're gonna have Hank on, and everyone's be back together in studio in a minute. Was there a thought watching the Caps game when it got to 2-1? We spent basically 30 minutes grilling Hank being down 0-2 both home games. Was there a thought you're like, oh fuck, this is not going to age well when we kick it back to studio and everyone's be like, but PFT, you're down 0-2 at home. Was there did that thought cross your head?
That thought crossed my head all day today. that thought started crossing my head right when the Celtics lost last night. I'm not rooting against the Celtics per se, but I am rooting against Hank.
Right.
Because it's a lot of fun to watch Hank lose. I think most people would agree with me, by the way. Even if, you don't feel one way or the other about the Celtics, I would rather see him lose than see him win. But yeah, that thought crossed my mind the second that the game ended yesterday. I didn't really even get to enjoy the loss that much because I was just thinking, well, this is what I'm staring down for my own personal game too. And there's a lot of similarities between the Caps and the Celtics in terms of like how their season's gone, the expectations for them. And I wake up every day and I thank my lucky stars that Hank is not smart enough to see that I'm opening myself up to all sorts of responses from him.
He doesn't watch hockey. That's the best part. You like the whole time he could just reverse all these things on you.
Every word that I say to him
doesn't see it. He does not see it at all.
Every single word that I say to Hank could very easily have been said right back to me regarding the Caps. But guess what? We don't have to have that conversation because we split at home. Tom Wilson played one of the best games of hockey that I've seen anybody play all year. And it was in every aspect of the game. Even if you're a Tom Wilson hater, which I acknowledge there are many Tom Wilson haters. And in fact, I think most fans of other teams probably hate Tom Wilson. But if Tom Wilson was on your team, you would love him. Mm-hmm. That's just the kind of player that he is. And I've had to deputize myself as like a Tom Wilson defender in the last several years because you can slow down every screenshot and make a case that, oh, this guy is dirty. This guy does blah, blah, blah. He's also really fucking skilled. And he had a great assist tonight. He played awesome on defense in addition to some of the big hits that he had. He took away a goal from Orlov and then he blocked a shot like 5 seconds afterwards. And just an all-around great game of hockey from Tom Wilson. He's so much fun to watch, and I'm glad that the Caps were able to pull one out. We look pretty good tonight.
There was more juice.
We had juice in the building. You know what?
There was more juice.
It wasn't juice, Big Cat. I was wrong. It's not the juice that we needed.
What was it?
Agape. We needed agape in the building tonight. That's the Caps catchphrase right now, and it's spelled AGAPE.
Okay.
So it's agape.
Okay.
And they handed out towels tonight for the game for the fans that just said agape on them. In the stands, they had like a laser projection before the game that said agape. And then when you say agape, all the fans in the stands make what looks like a hole with their hands, but it's really a heart. Okay. But they're just like agape. I'm going agape right now. It's the funniest thing ever. It is like a biblical word for like true love, like the highest form of love that you can have. But they still have the word agape plastered all over the arena, and they're making a giant hole with their hands when they show their support for the agape movement.
Okay, as an unbiased third party, I don't know if you can win a cup with agape.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. That's like if you have a catchphrase that people are saying incorrectly, that's tough.
But
you have to agree with that. I'm not trying to like. It's just a fact. Like if we saw this from another team, we would make fun of it.
Yeah, but it's like Tom Wilson. I would hate Tom Wilson because I love agape. I love agape, Big Cat.
You got to agape your heart out. You got to agape till you can't agape anymore. I'm just telling you from a removed set of eyes.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Listen, I am the most.
Let's agape. Let's
fucking
agape.
Want to agape together?
I'm going to agape out of my eyeballs.
Part of my take is the number one most agape podcast in the United States. I'm the biggest.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I'm the most agape guy on the planet right now. When I watch Tom Wilson, I get agape.
What is the genesis of it? Who came up with it?
It's a biblical word. You got a problem with the Lord?
No. I'm saying like who? I know you said it was a biblical word. I'm saying who was like, hey, we're going to use this word because I'm saying this cautiously.
Yep.
Because all these things usually like they'll do the Uno reverse card on you and be like, oh, it's actually one of the guy's kids who has cancer. He says agape to his dad right before he leaves for the rink every night. Like I don't want that to happen. But where did this start?
It started with our backup goalie. I think it was Charlie Lindgren.
Okay, that helps. Helps.
He's a big like Christian literature guy.
Got it.
And so he read about the concept of agape love being the most pure form of love. So he brought it to my understanding, and I'm reading between the lines because there's nothing from the Capitals that like they know that the word is agape. Mm-hmm. You have to know that the word is agape, but they don't do anything to like wink at you about why this is a big thing for us. So reading between the lines, I think that it was Charlie Lindgren, who's a big Christian literature guy. He read about the concept of agape love, brought it to the locker room and said, this is what I'm reading about. It's like the best form, the highest form of love that you can have for somebody that you truly care about, like we care about each other in this locker room. And then I think what probably happened was all the guys in the locker room were like, holy shit, agape.
Yeah.
And then they started saying agape. and then they told the team PR person, yeah, it's this form of love, and then they ran with it. That's what I think is going on here.
So
also, you got to fight fire with fire. We're going up against Brandy Love, and she is a very gay person too.
That's true. She's a gape a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I still think that's a tough phrase to win a cup with. It helps a lot that it's the backup goalie. The best, like when you think about championship teams, the best catchphrases and ideas usually come from offensive linemen, catchers, backup goalies. These are the things, guy on the bench in a basketball like team who's the 10th on the bench who only comes in, when you're already up. Like these, you can't have your stars creating these. So you get a little points back for that.
Yeah. I'm going all in on it. I'm all in on a gape right now.
By the way, so other hockey stuff. We got to wait till we get Yandel on or Biz or Whitney. Because my question to them will be, we talk about it with baseball and basketball, like being in the zone. If that exists in hockey, Mikko Rantanen is in the zone because what he's doing right now is insane. So he had a hat trick, a natty hattie on Wednesday night. In the last 4 games, he has had 8 goals and 6 assists. Pretty ridiculous. It's
crazy.
Absolutely on fire, and the Stars took the first game of the series on the road, and it feels like the Stars are going to win the cup. I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid thing to say, but it feels like they're really fucking good.
Would you say they're aligning right now? They feel like they might be aligning, and with those goals, didn't he get a hat trick in one period in each of those games?
It was in the second period last night, on Wednesday night, and it was in the third period against the Avs, Game 7.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's unbelievable what that guy's doing.
That wasn't the Stars game. The Avs game wasn't a natty hattie because it was an open goal.
Right, but those count too.
Empty net. Why did I say open goal? Empty net. Yeah. I just got caught up in natty hattie.
But that's fine. I feel like the downplaying of empty netters is something that the casual fan would do because
they count.
You're winning if you're winning a playoff game and they got to take the goalie out. That means that you guys did something right.
Yeah, they count. And then the Leafs, it might be their year. That was a nice another one where it's like now it is early in the series and the Leafs usually leaf later in the series. But if you had to say through 2 games, the way they are fighting and winning these games, and something about Biz with that mustache. Every time I see him with that mustache, I'm like, shit, something magical. That really is like Biz's mustache dominates a gape.
Yeah,
that's kind of like
it
the
kind
vibes.
of also it might imply a gape too.
That's true. Did you see his video
the love definition.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him after they won on Wednesday night?
I did. He's
getting
going
a
nuts.
massage.
Calm, cool, collected. 2-0, bitches.
He's going nuts, and that's why I can't take anything that he says about the Cap seriously, because I know he's going to turn his back on me the second that they go up against the Leafs. And also, let's not forget that Paul Bissonnette is a bet welcher.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. He made a bet about getting circumcised a couple years ago if the Leafs didn't win a playoff series, and he never did it.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of that, we should shout out Paul Pierce for actually walking to the studio today. He said before Game 2 of the Knicks-Celtics series, if the Knicks win that game, he's going to walk from his house to his job. I think it was 20 miles. We're living in a world where guys aren't eating poop on camera and welching on all types, but aren't putting burrito. No, I think the guy did put the burrito up his ass. I'm pretty sure he put the burrito up his ass. So that guy's off the hook. Yeah. Yep. But Paul Pierce deserves a shout out for that. And then came in wheelchair. That was some good TV.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Oilers just scored again. Oilers are up 3-1. Oilers are buzzing.
He was walking to work, and then Kevin Garnett drove past him.
Yeah.
Found out where he was driving and just gave him a little flyby real quick. That was credit to Paul Pierce. He is the truth.
Because there's a lot of guys, like there's a lot of bets that are not getting paid up. Like Max hasn't done the Dingers Only League.
I'm owed $500 from a random guy online.
Right. The other guy hasn't eaten the poop. FSU.
Yeah, it is a sad state of affairs in this country, but I'm glad to see that Paul Pierce is living up to it. With the Leafs, Nylander might be close to being in the zone too.
Yeah.
He's having a great playoffs. And shout out Mitch Marner. He got a baby goal.
Mhm.
He had I think it was his first kid over the weekend on Saturday maybe, and then had an awesome shot from pretty much on the boards that he just sniped in. The Leafs are fun. I find myself rooting for the Leafs.
Me too. And again, we know that like there's going to be a lot of our Canadian listeners and be like, you guys are fucking assholes. Don't root for the Leafs. But they are fun. I don't know what to say.
I root for the Leafs, but I think it's hilarious if they were to lose.
If I had to have one thing I could say negative about the Leafs, it bothers me how veiny the Leaf is.
Oh yeah,
I think it's just a little too much veins.
I like that it's anatomically correct, and I like that it's.
But is
Leafs.
it? That's a lot of veins.
That's where the maple syrup is.
Yeah, that's where the good stuff comes from.
Stick it in there like an IV, yeah, and just pour it out. But we're really in a no lose situation with these Leafs because it's awesome if they lose because it's very funny and they're a fun team. So if they win, we get to watch them play more.
Yeah, and I think if the Caps can't go to the Stanley Cup final, I think we all should be rooting for Oilers Leafs because it would be, incredible for Spit and Chicklets. It would be all time.
Yeah, also just as a fan, it would be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'd be very fun. Speaking of Canada, by the way, we have a American Pope, so suck on that. First ever from Chicago, White Sox fan. They found Chicago Sun-Times found a picture of like a father and son, and in the background is the Pope. What's his name? Official name? Pope Leo the 14th?
Leo the something, yeah.
Yeah. They found him in the background of the 2005 World Series. So yeah, it's awesome. We got an American Pope. Suck on that, everyone.
Yeah, it's very important. Finally, representation matters. Now American kids can grow up thinking they too can be the Pope one day. And apparently this guy's neighbor in Chicago told him growing up, like, one day you will be the first American Pope. He's like, hey, you can be the Pope.
I did see someone quote tweet and said that neighbor, LeBron James.
Yeah, that's a fact.
LeBron, definitely. Yeah. But
it's very cool to be able to say to the world that has, you've all had your turns with popes. Italy's had like a million popes before. And now it's time. Let's get an American in there, kick some ass. Let's see what we do with it. And we might just never relinquish it. It might be just a thing where it's like, we took over your come in your trap, take over your trap.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, also the Pope. But yeah, the picture of him at the World Series game for the White Sox was very funny. And I saw another picture of him in a Chicago pizzeria like a year ago, just standing there. He looks like a pure Chicago guy.
It's so funny to because the Pope has never been American. So now we have a Pope who we could be like, hey, he actually watches our sports. Like this Pope who is the head of the Catholic Church could actually have been thinking at one point in the last couple of months being like, Ben Johnson is going to save Caleb Williams. That could be a thought in his head. The guy who's running the Catholic Church. I mean,
credit to Ryan Poles because they're going to be way better at Hail Marys next year.
Yeah,
they got the Pope on their side.
They can't win if they can't win a Super Bowl with the Pope on their side. I mean, and obviously there was the joke of the day was the Catholic Church Chicago got a Pope before the Bears got a 4,000-yard passer. That was pretty funny.
That's pretty mean. I thought the joke of the day was
just stealing it.
Was Pope.
Caleb Williams did tweet that as well. Yes.
Yeah, stole my tweet, Caleb. But I pointed out to Caleb that if you're going to make fun of Jaden Daniels' mom, then you're also making fun of the Pope. No girls. Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true. It is crazy though to be like this guy. Like, what does he watch football? I assume so. He has to. He's American.
He absolutely watches football 1,000,000%.
I need just his thoughts on just the most mundane things, just to rile up the super religious people being like, yeah, I actually am thinking about this. Yeah, I did actually say that if I'm gonna be the Pope, I'm gonna need YouTube TV for kickoffs on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. The players thank God after the game, and the Pope's just like, you're welcome. I talked to him.
I got you, boys.
I hooked that up. I hooked that up for you. Also, big misstep by the Cubs, though. big miscalculation by the Cubs.
Yeah, there was some weird reports.
They claimed the Pope, and then it took a real journalist to go out there, boots on the ground journalism, find his brother and be like, which baseball team does he actually root for? Because you can't lie on the Pope's name. You can't do that. And
it was tough. The marquee showing it. It wasn't great. I hope this doesn't submarine the entire Cubs season, but the thought has crossed my mind.
It might literally be blasphemy.
Yeah. It's a false prophet, right?
Yeah. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Pope is from the USA.
There you go. That one was good.
That's a banger.
That is a banger. All right. What else? Oh, we got to pick a first basket for Friday night. So DraftKings, we're doing our first basket competition. The NBA playoffs are finally here. It's about to get wild. High stakes drama, insane buzzer beaters, jaw dropping dunks, and the excitement you live for. And guess what? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is giving you a chance to boost your winnings every single game during the playoffs. That's right. Every game, all playoffs long. DraftKings is rolling out a special NBA profit boost. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TAKE to claim your profit boost. That's right. Code TAKE. Get you a boost for every single NBA playoff game. Don't miss your shot at big wins. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. So Max and Hank aren't here. So I think PFT and I just get their picks this week.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell plus 380 in the DraftKings Sportsbook to score the first basket, and SGA plus 425 in the DraftKings Sportsbook to score the first basket. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go Pascal Siakam plus 850 first basket, Pascal's wager, and then Jokic plus 600 to score in the nightcap. Yeah,
I like it. So yeah, they just, I think that's fair. They don't get a pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the stipulations of the rules of the contest is that you have to be present on part of my take to make the pick.
We texted saying, "Are we ready to go?" And wait, Memes, you said don't type a gape on Twitter. Oh no!
Now you have to type a gape on Twitter.
I'm doing it right now.
Typed it in. Once you go 3 tweets down, it's just.
Is this gonna fuck up my algorithm?
No, you see a guy with a massive hog, and then.
Oh, and what is he doing?
He's gaping.
He's gaping.
Is it goatsy?
Oh, yep, I saw it. Okay. Yeah.
Goatsy yourself?
That's fine.
Yeah, listen, it's not for the faint of heart. Not everyone's built to get a gape like I am.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to gape anymore on Twitter. That's fair. All right, so last thing we want to talk about, George Pickens gets traded to the Cowboys. And this is perfect because George Pickens with Jerry Jones is like, if you had to pick where you want him to go, I think that would be the perfect marriage. Jerry Jones also saying that he was going to make a big move, whether before the draft or after the draft. Promises made, promises delivered. Apparently, this is the big move. The only problem for Jerry Jones is like don't start. What is it? Don't start a war in Russia in the winter. What was Princess Bride?
Never saw it.
You never saw Princess Bride?
I've dropped in and out of it a few times. And I understand the references.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to find it.
I'm your father, prepare to die. Something like that.
Yeah. I'm Inigo Montoya. Never get involved in a land war in Asia. What's the whole fucking quote? I don't know. Either way, what I was getting to. Yeah, there you go. You got them all.
No, I think it's inconceivable, right?
It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
I think it's also like don't get into a poison off with like a Sicilian. I butchered this. My point though is never trade for a wide receiver from Mike Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin is trading his wide receiver for a reason. And that means that Mike Tomlin is done with his wide receiver and he doesn't want him anymore. And you can go back, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Antonio Brown, who I know won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, but he got traded to the Raiders and that didn't last more than a month.
And then he became a sex criminal too.
Yeah. Martavis Bryant, Santonio Holmes, okay on the Jets, but he was obviously, that was his best years were on the Steelers. Mike Tomlin, when he's like, I'm done with the wide receiver, it's over. It's damaged goods. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's a little bit different from the other. examples that you gave, because some of those other guys, not all of them, but some of them were towards the downside of their career. I don't think that anyone's saying that Pickens physically is getting towards the downside of his career. Like when you look at Mike Wallace, he probably wasn't. He was probably like right in the prime.
He was, he played well on the Dolphins and the Ravens after.
Yeah, but a lot of those others were kind of like on the downside. They had reached their peak physically, and they were getting slower, not faster at that point. Pickens is a little bit different from that, but also if Mike Tomlin doesn't think he can handle you anymore, that is a pretty good sign that Jerry Jones won't be able to handle you.
Yeah.
Now, what I think is a big warning sign for this entire operation here for the Cowboys is that Pickens is not signing an extension.
Ooh.
So he's on a 1-year deal. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, PFT, doesn't that just mean that he's going to be highly motivated to be productive this year so he can cash in a free agency? Yes, that is a valid point. However, I think the bigger point is that if CeeDee Lamb starts getting the lion's share of the targets and Pickens isn't involved in the game plan, he is going to blow his head off.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to go fucking insane, even by George Pickens standards, because he always wants the ball in general, and he's a great player. He does deserve the ball, I think, more than he's gotten it in the past. But even when he's getting the ball a decent amount, he still flips out, and he does crazy shit because he's frustrated when he's really not getting the ball, and it's impacting his bottom line on what he's going to sign for in free agency. I feel like it's a volatile mix.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would say that, George Pickens, look, he's got all the talent. It's just, can he do everything else? I mean, remember the end? He had that game. What was it? Was it a playoff? No, it wasn't the playoff game. I think it was the Bengals game where he had one reception for like -1 yard.
Yeah.
In the last week of the season. And I don't know. I just, it feels like a combustible situation. And again, I'm going to go just trust Mike Tomlin that if he doesn't want you anymore as a wide receiver, that means something's up.
Yeah, it's probably not a Mike Tomlin problem. I think it's on the other foot. But I do love George Pickens is still like one of the more electric players in the NFL to watch, even if he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him to do well because it'll be fun. It's fun when he's good and he makes crazy catches and he goes crazy on the field. The only other question I had for you, PFT, knowing how the Steelers operate, knowing how Mike Tomlin operates, they always need a crazy guy at wide receiver. Do you think there's a part of DK Metcalf who walked in the locker room, I don't know if they're in OTAs or whatever, or just showed up to training and he was like, looks around, he's like, wait, so it's me? Yeah. I have to be the crazy guy now.
I think a lot of times teams do that if they've got a young superstar and they got to trade away like the old veteran presence to really let the young superstar grow into their role. Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart was the heartbeat of that team. Mm-hmm. And Brad Stevens was like, we love you, Marcus, but we got to get rid of you and let these guys step it up. I think this is a challenge. I think Mike Tomlin is issuing a challenge to DK Metcalf to really get fucking nuts with it this year.
Yeah.
I think he can fulfill it. Yeah.
I do too. Do you think DK's like, wait, so those like personal fouls and all these like extracurricular penalties, I get to do George's now too?
Yeah, you're stepping into that's the Steelers wide receiver 1 position.
Yeah.
That's what that means. And I think he's capable. They might be able to offset some of the crazy if they get Aaron Rodgers. That would bring like a different element of crazy. So
I went on Pittsburgh radio with our guys this week, and they basically were like Aaron Rodgers. So this was a theory from our guys Bill Crawford and Randy Bauman, and I told them I was going to steal this theory. And essentially, so I'm actually crediting them. Essentially, they said that they're waiting. Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what they said. It starts there. Aaron Rodgers is already the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're basically playing a game of chicken because Aaron Rodgers' new maybe wife, I don't know, he was wearing a wedding ring at Kentucky Derby, is big into astrology. And if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers before the schedule comes out, they're going to give the Steelers a ton of night games. And they don't want that to happen because Aaron Rodgers is a little older and astrology playing at night. So he's just waiting for the schedule to come out. Then he will sign with the Steelers and make it official. And then probably bring, all the Packers, like Randall Cobb will probably be there. Jordy Nelson will probably be there. That's where the rest of the receivers are going to come from. So that's their theory, and I loved it. And I told them it was a great theory, and I was going to share it on Part of My Take. And they also threw in the extra of like their astrologist, his astrologist wife / girlfriend being like, Mercury is in Renegade. Real Yinzer shit.
Oh, I like that. That's a great saying.
Yeah.
Shout out those guys. I love the guys.
They're the best.
So it's an interesting thing. You're saying that she, as an astrologist, doesn't want him playing games at night. Isn't that when she? It's
partially, I think, his age, and then partially like she wants him to be in the best spot, and I guess night like doesn't line up with. It's all crazy pseudoscience that you have to believe.
Yeah.
So
I think
he's playing this game just so that he doesn't have to play at night.
I think it's more just astronomy. It's like it's nighttime outside. Does that make you an astrologist to be like, I don't see the sun? Yeah, you could say I'm a bit of a star freak myself. We should look into seeing what Aaron Rodgers' sign is and compare that to what George Pickens' sign is and see if the two of them are compatible.
Yeah. I mean, if
not, that might be it.
Remember our theory at the end of Tom Brady's career with the Bucs? We're like, because he had a string of late games where he didn't play well, and it's like, yeah, he's 45 years old, dude. He wants to go to bed at 8:00 at night, and they're kicking off at 8:15. This could be a situation where he's like, listen, I know the Steelers are a national brand; they're going to get a certain amount of primetime games, but if there's Aaron Rodgers, they'll probably get a couple more. Because he does put asses in the seat. So I think we're going to get Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers on May 15th.
If they go into the season with no Aaron Rodgers into the schedule, I feel like they would get maybe one, like Mason Rudolph as the quarterback. What does that do for you?
Yeah. It would definitely be less. So that might be their play.
Okay. So George Pickens, when's his birthday? Let's look this up here. His birthday is March 4th, 2001. Which
makes him
locker room
Pisces.
cancer. Okay, Pisces.
No, I don't know. I guessed.
Okay.
Am I right? Wow. The only ones I know are Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Oh, Leo too, right?
That's the Pope.
Yeah, that is the Pope. The Pope. All right. So he's a Pisces. And Aaron Rodgers is a Sagittarius.
Okay. Do Sagittarius and Pisces get along?
Let's
find out. This is the type of hard-hitting analysis that only Part of My Take can give you.
Pisces and Sagittarius, while different, can form a surprisingly strong connection in both friendship and romance. Maybe they were afraid they were going to start dating.
That is a real fear.
The contrasting elements, water and fire, can create a dynamic and exciting partnership, but also require understanding and communication and navigate potential clashes.
Sagittarius' need for freedom and independence may clash with Pisces' desire for emotional security. That checks out to me.
Yeah, and also Sagittarius is direct and blunt, which can be hurtful to Pisces, who are sensitive and emotional. That checks out. Aaron Rodgers is very direct and blunt, and George Pickens is very emotional.
We should get an astrologist on Part of My Take and do our like full NFL team record predictions based off astrology.
Yeah. Oh, man. Clear and honest, open communications.
But it gets deeper than that if you read the whole chart. So I'm assuming that Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend, wife, Jordan, whatever it is, that individual has, they get deep into it. They find out what time of day you were born.
Yeah.
That whole thing. And then they do the big sketch out, the chart. And they're like, okay, now I can tell you the most generic things possible that you will find to be seemingly accurate.
Yeah. By the way, we haven't had any updates on Jordan.
That's true. I did hear one. I heard one update on Jordan. She, as her job as the head PR marketing person for Belichick's book, she is giving every UNC graduate a copy of her book this year, or excuse me, his book.
That's a good way to sell it.
So yeah, bumping those numbers up a little bit. Good job, Jordan.
Jordan did it. Oh, Jules spoke out and said that she's a distraction. You got to keep that in the clubhouse, Jules.
Yeah, come on, Jules. Jules just mad that he's getting Wally pipped.
Oh man. Okay. Let's get back to ourselves with Hank, special guest maybe. And then we have a great interview with Gilbert Arenas, almost an hour with Gilbert Arenas, who was awesome. And we'll finish with Fyre Fest, and then we'll see everyone on Monday. Okay, before we get to some more NBA playoff talk, Game Time NBA playoffs are here, and the only place to buy hard-to-get playoff tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. You could save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets. I was looking at tickets for the Game 3 Celtics Knicks in New York. It's going to be an expensive ticket.
Expensive ticket. I think it's the most expensive Knicks game in a long time. Right now, I'm looking at the cheapest you can get in the building, $646.
Wow.
Get in early. It's going to be dead quiet by the end.
Wow.
The Mecca.
Okay.
The greatest arena in the world.
So go right now to Game Time. What are you waiting for? Buy those tickets. Knicks Celtics Game 3. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code PMT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code PMT for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. We're also brought to you by our friends at Planet Fitness. Everybody can get strong at Planet Fitness. High-value membership that supports any fitness journey as low as $15 a month. We have it in our office. Everyone's been getting in shape. I've been lifting again. It feels good. Planet Fitness, they got the stair climber, they got the treadmill, over 2,700 club locations. Most clubs open 24 hours. My personal favorite piece of the equipment, I like to hop on the treadmill and just do a little hot girl walk. Just walk on like a 5 incline for 20 minutes, get the heart rate going. So let's get in shape this year. Let's get it going. Let's do it with Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. Join today in club, online, or in the free PF app. Do it now with Planet Fitness. We love Planet Fitness, so thank you. And we're all getting in shape. We're going to be looking good this summer. Okay, Hank, we're back in studio. Game 2 of the Celtics Knicks. If you thought it was a rerun, you're not going crazy. The Knicks were down 20 points again. The Celtics missed a ton of threes again, and the New York Knicks are somehow up 2-0 in this series. Hank's looking for the remote. I think he's trying to stall because he doesn't want us to talk about this game. Hank.
Yeah. You're not worried?
I did say on the show on Sunday that the Celtics could lose one. I wouldn't be worried. And I said, you know what? They could lose two, and I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's not true. It's not true.
It's not worried. Oh, no.
If they had just lost, a couple close games, couple battles, and the Knicks, the way they lost has me a little worried. That's what I want to say.
Okay, why?
Yeah, specifically.
Because they've missed every single three.
Mm-hmm. Jason Tatum.
That's not true.
Absolutely.
Technically, they're 25 for 100 from three.
And this game, by the way, before you tell us how worried you are, all credit to the Knicks. Specifically, their defense. They stopped, I think it was 1 for 14 the Celtics finished on, and the one was Jason Tatum going for that dunk. They missed 13 straight shots. In that 13 straight shots, it was 84-68, and then the Knicks stopped them 13 straight times. And it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That was bad. And the Knicks, all credit to the Knicks. They are as gritty gets. They have won all 5 of their road games these playoffs, and they've won them by 2 points, 1 point, 3 points, 3 points, 1 point. So every single game they've won on the road, and they've won all of them in these playoffs, is 3 points or less. That's just a tough fucking team.
It is a tough team. They don't die, and the Celtics going 15 for 60 in game 1. That's 25% from 3. And then in game 2, they went 10 for 40. Also 25%. It's not going to last, right?
And that's the thing. It's
right.
You have a historically bad shooting night. Everyone's asked me after game 1 what's wrong with Celtics. They're not going to have that bad of a shooting night again. If they shoot 30%, they win that game easily. The same thing goes for last night. Like, if they shoot 30%, they win that game easily. If they hit 1 field goal or maybe 2 field goals in the last 8 minutes, they probably win that game. They had a lot of open looks. There's nothing – the game plan is – the problem that worries me a little bit is that there's nothing to fix besides making shots. Like the game plan is the game plan, and it's working correctly. They can't make shots down the stretch.
What about Jason Tatum? He is in the fourth quarter of this series. He has 6 points, 1 for 11 field goals, 0 for 9 3-pointers.
Yeah, he's got a banged up wrist. He's battling through it. He did make that layup when we needed it most. Didn't love the look at the end of the game.
The one that we were about to have a great conversation with Gilbert Arenas. There was a sequence where the Knicks were storming back. It was an 86-81 game.
Yeah.
3 minutes left. Jason Tatum has a wide open three from the corner, but you'd normally be like, hey, take this three. Al Horford, Jalen Brunson was on Al Horford, and he had fallen down, and Al Horford was standing under the hoop, wide open. A simple pass and a dunk stops the bleeding a little bit. Instead, Jason Tatum takes the three, misses the three, or Jason Tatum just goes to the hoop there. He probably scores. That was bad.
That was bad. It was bad. It was shocking. It was a shocking turn of events. Sure, it was
because you're up 20 again.
Surely this can't happen again. Surely we're gonna hit one shot, and we got looks. We got open looks. That one was kind of a dagger when you just see him fall over, and no one was even. It was just him and Al in the basket.
Yeah, well, you did
came away with 0.
You did make a field goal down the stretch. That's when Jason Tatum drove the length of the floor, and everybody was like, "Wow, that was really easy."
Well, yeah, that was. I was on Instagram Live, and I was like, "Who's taking this shot? No one wants to shoot." Best play of all time. Just run down and dunk it. Like, that's easy. Don't have to worry about shooting. But then, on the next possession, Tatum didn't want to shoot. He tried to pass it. Mikal Bridges stopped it. It was again, this has been this iteration of the Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown era. This has been somewhat of a common theme where they get a little tight down the stretch and it doesn't look good, and right now they're in one of those modes.
Yeah, and it feels like the Knicks gain strength.
There's no way it happens again.
It feels like I know you said before you're not scared of anyone on the Knicks. And
Jalen Brunson's good.
Jalen Brunson when they get into clutch time. And also, by the way, Mikal Bridges, incredible fourth quarter. He scored 14 points. He was everywhere on defense. They're just a gritty team.
Yeah.
They're a gritty team. Now, while watching this game, Hank, how many times do you think about Jerry O'Connell and what he was he like, bing bonging to himself? Did it pop in your head that like Jerry's having the best time and maybe the 86 Mets thing is correct? And could you hear the bing bong ringing in your ears?
I was happy that I was like on my couch. I was like, it's one of those perspective things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is traumatic, but at least I'm not getting this fucking. All right, we're doing. All right, come on.
Is that a soundboard names? What is that?
Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. Hanky, I'm wearing the Brokeback hat. It's my lucky Brokeback hat. You gave it to me. I can't quit you. I can't quit you. Hey, everyone! I'd like to introduce to everyone our new puppy. Jalen.
Oh, that's an adorable name.
Brunson, not Brown. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, Hanky. I'm inside you. I can't quit you. I can't quit you. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
Well, Hank, Jerry's here. Jerry's here.
Hey, I heard your ear popped yesterday.
It's 2 days ago.
Yeah. It wasn't your fault,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Had nothing to do with it. I told you. You had a little cold, a little head cold.
What are you going to say to Jerry?
I'm happy Jerry's enjoying it. It's a fun little ride. He's getting his hopes up, and we're going to go into New York and shut him up. That's fine. They deserve to gloat. They won 2 games that they shouldn't have won, and I got nothing to say. Congratulations.
Hanky, I want you to say there's something special about this Knicks team.
No, I will not
I
say
want to
that.
hear you say it.
No.
I want to hear you say there's some magic there.
Jalen Brunson's a good player, and you guys are getting very lucky.
You know what's funny? Wednesday when I was on the podcast, you know what I was thinking of? The Giants beating the Patriots.
Such a prick.
Nice.
You're a fucking Jets fan, Jerry.
No, we're inside you. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. Jalen only knows the Knicks beating the Celtics. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
Jerry, where are you? Where are you right now?
Oh, remember my car was on the show on Wednesday? It broke down.
Yeah,
The team knows what I'm talking about.
I hear you.
I'm waiting.
Jerry, Hank was saying earlier this week that he would not be worried if the Celtics went down 2-0. Now that they are down 2-0, he confided in us that he was in fact a little bit worried. I don't know if you have any words of encouragement or anything like that, but the boy needs to be picked up a little bit.
No, I don't have words of encouragement. As a Knicks fan, being up 2-0, I'm worried. The Celtics are awesome. And for some reason, they're not hitting shots. And for some reason, at the end of the game, they're not getting shots off. That's got to be so frustrating. 2 games in a row. Nightmare on Hanky Street, part 2.
Yeah, so do you
Is game 3 a must win or can't lose, Jerry?
At the Garden, it's going to be electric. I wish I could afford tickets there. If I had just gambled more at DraftKings Sportsbook, maybe I could have bought a couple of those. But I'll be watching from a bar in Los Angeles. I hate to give out my location, but here we go. 33 Taps, Los Angeles. It's a Knicks bar. It's incredible.
I love it. Wait, so are you scared of the Celtics now, or like at all, Jerry? Like they're.
Let me tell you something about the New York mentality.
Okay.
We're always scared of opponents. We come out fighting. We're in a corner. We're hungry. We're going to fight you up until the last shot. Yeah, look at you, Hanky. Covering the first. You can't even look at this. The big mom, Jalen.
It's a cute puppy.
Yeah, Jalen's. How old is Jalen?
Can't beat you. Jalen's only 2 months old.
Oh wow. Wow.
I know. My wife is always on next door, and it's usually like there's an unhoused person or there's meth dealing going on here. But we saw some puppies on next door.
Say hi to Jalen, Hank. It's a cute puppy.
Hank hates dogs.
Hank, come on.
Hank, the question could go back to you though. Is this a must win or is it a can't lose for the Celtics?
Can't lose.
Can't lose.
So
this
you're
one?
not must winning it. Going down 3-0. That to me, you can't go down 3-0.
Which is why we can't lose it.
It's a must win.
No, if we lose, the series is over.
Really?
Actually, no. I think we can still come back from 3-0.
Okay. All right. So Jerry, you're going to be at the bar.
I don't think Boston's ever done that against New York.
Yeah.
We're gonna have at least 6 games here, right? At bare minimum.
Yep.
You might have to come and stream a game with us.
Yeah, I would love it. Listen, I'm not working. I'm just doing like tours. My wife is doing that X-Men movie, so I got time. I can't believe Hank isn't a dog guy. Are you a cat guy? Carl Anthony Towns?
Jerry, can I ask a question not about basketball? Because there was news yesterday that I don't know why it was reported, but your wife is not going to be nude in the new movie.
What? Where was that report? What?
I got tagged. I got tagged in a bunch of tweets that just said Rebecca Romaine will not appear nude in Avengers.
Well, I mean, like you talking like full.
I don't know.
JJ?
I don't know. I got tagged out of respect. My brain went to quote tweeting being like, "Fuck you, Jerry, you did this," but I didn't, and out of respect, I just ignored it.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's so much secrecy around those Marvel movies. My wife didn't even tell me that my wife was going to be in that movie. I found out through you guys congratulating me.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you in the next X-Men movie? My wife was like, yeah, I didn't want to tell you. It's like privileged info.
Let me just double check this news here. Rebecca Romaine nude.
Yeah.
I got an autocomplete on that. I don't see anything in the actual. Sorry, Jerry. I don't see anything in the actual news about it.
All right,
but I guess
I don't think it's that story.
Okay, maybe ask her about it though. Tell her we say hi.
Yeah. Tell her we say hi and tell her. I mean, listen, you're living your life right now. You're bing bonging Hank to death.
Oh man,
he is.
I was walking the streets yesterday, and everyone was like, "Is that the Brokeback hat? Is that Hanky's Brokeback hat?" We were all touching it. You should have never given this to me, Hanky. Ever. Bing bong, bing bong. I can't quit you. I can't quit you.
Yeah. Hank. what are
Hank's
you gonna
down
say?
bad.
Oh, I get it. Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you finally get
good.
it. You finally get
You
it.
finally getting this?
You're finally getting it.
Pop your other ear, dude.
You're finally getting it. Come on, Hank.
Hank, fight back.
I got
Fight
nothing
like
to
a
say.
man.
I can't wait to shut up fucking Jerry and his stupid pint 33 bar, Chalamet, Stiller, Tracy Morgan, Acton Bronson. The Garden's gonna be rocking. Oh,
Acton Bronson.
Action
By
Bronson.
the way, you want to know what the funniest is?
and we're gonna
Maxie
smoke him.
picked the worst week to go on vacation. He keeps trying to insert himself on X. And
Oh,
I'm like,
it's the biggest
gosh, am I
force.
gonna have
Even
to
you
block
can
this
admit
guy?
that. We can agree on that, Jerry.
Yeah, there you go.
I've
Max
never
is a
seen
loser.
someone try harder and fall flatter on their face.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, can you give Hank a little, for old time's sake? Want to see a dead body?
We're not dead
Oh,
though.
what?
That's the thing.
What's going on? What?
It's adorable.
Is he saying
dog.
Bing Bong?
Somebody gonna throw up? Yeah, he's saying Bing Bong. Say Bing Bong. Hey, Bing Bong. Bing
It
Bong.
was a cute dog.
It's adorable.
It's a very cute
It's
dog.
such a cute dog.
Oh,
Yankee, if the Knicks win Game 3 Saturday, 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern time, you want to go see a dead body?
all right.
I also got to say because I was just in the lab going through the PMTV us golfing with Jerry, and Jerry was a delight in it. So it's tough to really
Oh,
He's the
tough to
best.
hate, but I do hate him.
Yeah, he's the absolute best.
Bing Bong, Bing Bong, Bing Bong, Bing Bong, Bing Bong, Bing Bong.
Just admit you were yelling in my ear. Like just admit you were yelling in my ear.
I gotta go, guys.
All right,
All right,
Jerry.
Jerry, good luck with the car.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Yeah,
You're the
thanks.
best. Hank,
Yeah.
Jerry, just ringing in your head. Bing
Yeah.
bong.
Listen, like
Hank's trying to do the math on how he can figure out how to come up on top of this situation. I don't think you're down 2-0. It sucks.
and I don't really care. People hate me, and everyone loves Jerry. I can't fucking stand him when he does that. But it is what it is. There's really he deserves to gloat. I do think the Celtics are going to win this series easily.
Easily. What does
Well,
easily mean? Wait.
Easily's
back up.
already out.
What does easily mean?
You can't be
4-2
easy.
is when you're looking back on the history books. 4-2 is pretty easy.
That's easily.
Is that a whomping?
We've put ourselves in a spot where, again, the one thing that is good to know is that we're the better team, and Missoula loves these spots. Like, he trains this team all season long to be in these spots where your back's up against the wall. There's no room for error. Unfortunately, there is no room for error. They have to win. They have to win Game 3. If they lose Game
That sounds
4,
like a must-win to me.
Yeah. Also, like being in Game 3 with a must-win means that it's not easy.
Yeah.
That can't be an easy.
Well, it's not a must-win. Hank already said you can't do both.
can't lose.
Will you? What's the lead that you'll feel good about at this point? None. 40?
10 with a minute.
10 with a minute.
Yeah, but be careful.
Yeah. Until next series, if it's the Pacers, then you can't.
It feels a lot also
Oh, man, I didn't realize Jason Tatum only had 13 points.
Yeah.
like the 2023 Heat series too, where those early games were games that the Celtics were winning, felt like they should have won, and then boom, it's 3-0. And we still almost won that series too, but you just can't. We just got to win on Saturday.
Are you?
You do make a good point though that this is Missoula's, like, this is where he loves to be. He's like a pig in shit right now, where it's like, okay, now he really has to tap into that inner psycho that he's got, because he loves to do things like when we talked to him about like his house. He's got a nice house. He was like, I kind of wanted to destroy part of it with a sledgehammer so that I could feel like grittier and more inspired. This does feel like, obviously he'd rather be up 2-0 than down 2-0, but we're going to see some wild boy shit out of Missoula. I think.
Yeah. Also, shout out Mitchell Robinson, even though that one free throw was one of the worst free throws of all time.
It was so funny.
His rebounding and defense was enormous.
I think he was the only guy that was plus on their team.
Yeah, he was. Well, there was a campaign in Miles McBride where Deuce McBride, but he was plus 19. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Does it make you a little even more nervous knowing that wasn't even a crazy Jalen Brunson game? It was like Josh Hart and
Mikal Bridges.
Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter. He didn't hit a shot until the fourth
Yeah.
quarter, but he had 14 points in the fourth quarter. You can say the Celtics didn't make their threes again. The Knicks just won a game in Boston with Jalen Brunson only scoring 17 points.
Yeah, but he had the clutch points. That's why he was clutch player of the year. He kind of, scored when they needed them to score in the fourth quarter, and then their role players stepped up.
And
other
Cat
key
was
spots,
good too.
But he hit like 3 very clutch shots.
Yeah. Cat was really good. Cat was a beast on the boards. I think if you rank these, all right, let's finish with this. Rank the worrisome that you have with these 3 guys. Kristaps. I'll give you all 3. Kristaps, Jaylen Brown, because it's Kristaps, whatever disease he has.
He's number 1.
Jaylen Brown's knee and Jason Tatum just not having aura
and wrist. Jason Tatum's wrist.
Wrist.
I would go Kristaps 1, pretty significant gap. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Okay, so Jason
Jaylen
Tatum's
Brown
number
looked good
2.
last night.
Yeah.
What about Derek White?
Derek White, I have the utmost confidence in. They just have to hit shots. Like that's the thing. Like there's nothing.
How about
we
also,
just have to hit shots. We're getting open shots. Like we don't even have to get better shots and hit them. We just have to.
What about go to the rim?
They did go to the rim more last night.
They did. They took less threes. That Jason Tatum shot though was so crazy.
Yeah, and they just I don't know. I feel good.
You feel good. Hey, question.
Yes.
So you said earlier in this interview that
It's not an interview.
well, no, we're interviewing you.
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
interviewing
We're asking
you.
you.
We're all
Is it-
hosting.
you're fair, it's a post-interview because Jerry O'Connell, we just interviewed him, and now we're interviewing you, getting your reaction to it. Earlier in this interview, you stated that the Celtics were the better team, losing 2 games in a row. In fact, the only 2 games in this series. How do you justify that statement? How do you square that?
Well, PFT, so the NBA does this thing called a regular season, where there's a much bigger sample size of games.
And that's more important than the postseason.
No, but to answer your question of how did I come to the conclusion that the Celtics are the better team, they have led more in this series. They had more regular season wins, so therefore they are the better team. Just because they lost a couple of games does not change that. And I believe that Las Vegas, and DraftKings Sportsbook, all the people that decide who is favored in these games in these series, agree with me.
Well, no, because I think the Knicks are favored to win this series now.
I don't think so.
They were early this morning, but I think that flipped back.
It did flip?
I think now it's the Celtics
Celtics
minus
were minus
120
105 or 115.
At one point, the Knicks were minus 125.
Celtics are minus 120 on DraftKings. Knicks are plus 100. So
Okay, so it
yeah.
flipped.
point me.
Well, that's also the people flipped it. They released it as Knicks favorite.
So the people agree with me.
Yeah, the people, but that's not Vegas agreeing. Vegas just reacts to what the people
I'm
are
looking
betting.
at it.
Vegas,
Yeah, no, but they released it as Knicks minus 125.
like I've said for the last 3-4 months, this Knicks team is built to beat the Celtics.
I'm so happy you bailed on that.
I know I bailed on it so
Yeah,
early.
you did. You
So
did. You
early.
bailed so early.
After I think it was one game after I put the future. I'm like, fuck this. There's no chance in hell the Knicks beat the Celtics.
Oh, man. You're fine, Hank.
Yeah.
You're fine. Where are you going to be watching game 3?
I'll be in Scituate, so probably my parents' basement.
Okay.
Maybe TK's.
Okay. So you're fine.
Yeah, we're okay.
He's not.
Wait, are you fine? Are you worried? Are you not worried? You're all over the place.
Yeah, you're giving us the body language and your face.
Pressure
are
is a
giving us-
privilege. Pressure is a privilege. And Brooks always, as Brooks said, is like when you're worried, that just means there's pressure, and pressure is a good thing. So I'm happy to feel the pressure, but I do feel it.
It is. Jerry also did bring up a good point. Like, what a week for Max to miss. Because if the Celtics come back and win this series, he just didn't get to have any of the fun that he wants to, and he's just trying to. He's trying to do it from afar, and it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, this is what he lives to do. It's like the one time that he can really take a big shit right on Hank's head,
and he just can't do it.
and he can't too far away to shit.
Yeah.
The time
Way too
zones,
far.
The shitting on Hank doesn't work when you're recording a video and posting it live, and the time is noticeably different.
Yeah.
Like it's the middle of the day, and you're already moved on to the nighttime.
Yeah. Okay. Nuggets Thunder. The Thunder now, they did what I think everyone expected the Cavs to do in Game 2 and what the Celtics to do in Game 2.
Scheduled win.
They absolutely demolished. So I actually, like, I've been very low on sleep because we were traveling Monday and, kidney stone, whatever. So at halftime, I was like, you know what? I think I'm okay. I think I'm going to go to sleep. And then I woke up at like 1 a.m. in like a nervous sweat, being like, what if the Nuggets had come back and won this game?
Yeah, they never really got that close.
They never. I was happy with my decision.
And it was the 87 in the first half from the Thunder.
Yeah.
That's, I think, an NBA playoff record.
It was crazy. They hit every single shot. They shot 44% from three, 56% from the field. Everyone scored. I mean, if you look at it, I think they played all 15 guys. Like, they were just emptying the bench, meeting like big minutes. And the Thunder, this was their schedule. Like, they won one in OKC. Now you got to regroup, go back. I still think it's going to be a very good series, but this was the Thunder we all expected as the 1 seed, as a 68-team win. They flexed their muscles and they're like, yeah, we actually are still these guys.
Did you see what TNT did on the broadcast last night?
No.
So this was in the second half. Before the game was over, they changed the graphic to 1-1, like the graphic that's on the screen that says what the score of the series is overall. Not like, cutting away to a graphic and being like, okay, series tied 1-1 going back. On screen before the game, I think there were about 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, which is crazy to do.
Right.
But at this point, like, nobody can even argue with that.
Right.
If they had done that up, 10 points, even 20 points with 3 minutes left, you're like, what the fuck? But the game was like, I think, a 40-point lead at that point. And they're like, okay, we've literally never done this, but if there's a time to do it, it's now.
Yeah, because
Let's put it up there.
I mean, I had it in the back of my head where I was like, I'm going to go to sleep, but this is, knowing how these playoffs have gone, this could be a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was never.
You were
even
safe.
Close. I was safe. I needed to sleep too, so it felt good. But it was my content brain woke me up out of a dead sleep at 1 a.m. and I was like, because I think my last tweet was literally at halftime being like, scheduled loss for the Nuggets.
Yep.
This is what I expected out of the other 1 seeds and 2 seeds.
So if you're the Nugget, I would be not feeling. I'd be feeling as bad about a 1-1 series tie as possible after this game.
Yeah,
The way that it went.
yeah, because the Thunder game 1. As much as it was an insane comeback for the Nuggets, it really, I felt like, more of a choke for the Thunder in the way they managed the timeouts and the fouls and all that stuff and missing free throws. So, yeah, I'd agree. I think the Nuggets got to be a little scared going back.
I think the Thunder is up in the series 1-1.
Yes, I'd agree. Hank, you agree? You're still just trying to get the confidence.
Yeah, Hank
He still has
so
no
down.
confidence.
Hank, do something that brings you joy today. Like, go play some golf.
Can't.
Why not?
I'm traveling.
Were you shocked by Jerry being back on?
No, I knew it was going to
But you said at the time, you're like, oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, he's at 86 Mets. They're up 2-0.
He's been waiting for this moment for over a year. Or he was bing-bonging you when it wasn't even the Knicks.
I know. I
What? What
Well
is it?
said.
What is it, Hank?
I hate it, but whatever. It is what it is. You don't want to be the guy that's just hating on the thing that everyone else loves, but I hate it.
You hate Jerry. Is what you're trying to say is you hate Jerry O'Connell.
Hearing Jerry O'Connell. When we were hanging out at the Beck Gala off camera, great. When we were golfing, great. His
Man
shtick,
in the arena.
his shtick.
That's not a shtick. He's bing bonging.
I hate it.
He's bing bonging.
Just deal with it, Hank. You're up. Listen, if you were up 2-0, then you wouldn't think anything.
I would
of
not
it.
be doing that. I would not be gloating in his face, screaming in his ear.
That is true.
Yeah.
But you're also not Mr. Bing Bong.
Right, and you also
He's
didn't-
not Mr. Bing Bong.
He is Mr.
We
Bing
know
Bong.
who. Yeah, the real bing bong guy was like, I want to meet. Shout out him. He wants to meet Jerry O'Connell. I was like, I'll try to get that set up.
He said that?
Yeah, he DM'd me today.
Ugh.
He was just like, I love this. I love Jerry and his bing bong.
That's probably like a long con to serve him.
There was
Hopefully.
a
No, he just said he hit me up. He just said, bro, I got to meet this guy from Barstool who loves bing bong. Guy cracks me up. That's from bing bong guy himself.
and he's way more of Mr. Bing Bong than you are.
No shit.
Jerry is.
I'm not
Yeah.
a bit stealer.
So, yeah, let's go, Hank.
Yeah,
That's a fight. I want you to have this fight, Hank.
Salty Hank. Oh
Listen,
boy,
Hank, the Celtics are a scrappy little team.
Kevin Harlan literally said that
Yeah,
at the end of the game.
The Celtics are so scrappy.
They are scrappy.
Like, good for them. They competed hard. They almost won both those games.
We're gonna be fine. By the time we're talking on Tuesday, I'll be right in the world.
I noticed a little bit of joy in your eye.
Are we not doing a show on Sunday night?
Well, we'll be halfway there.
Okay.
I saw a little glint of joy in your eye because Jerry's been bringing up all the old New York stuff. When you thought about the Red Sox Yankees,
Yeah,
they
that
went
was.
down. Now you've
We're
got.
not going to get to that point, but you did that. I did file that away.
You like perked up a little
another
bit.
I would be
You almost
shocked.
hope they go down 0-3 so they can come back.
No.
I feel like this is a 7-game series.
Yeah, probably.
I do
don't know.
think the Celtics will make shots eventually.
I
Maybe they won't though, PFT.
That
What
would
if
be
they
crazy.
don't?
That would be crazy.
What if they just don't? What if they literally just don't make shots?
They will.
But what if they don't?
They will.
Okay.
So who's the most important player on Saturday?
Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
The Porzingis thing is also crazy.
yes.
So yeah, walk me
very
through what's
bizarre.
going on.
He sat out like a handful of games in March with an illness, undisclosed, and then he sat out a couple games last playoffs and was out for most of Game 1 with the same illness. Mm-hmm. But it's not disclosed, and it's like there's such a big gap between the two. What could it be that it's still lingering, and why won't they disclose it? It's very strange and worrisome.
Are there rumors? No HIPAA violations.
I've heard rumors, but I'm not going to do HIPAA.
Yeah, me neither.
Have you heard rumors?
No.
I've heard rumors, but I'm not going to do HIPAA.
Okay.
Do you want to bleep out the rumor I heard?
Yeah, bleep it out.
Okay.
I've heard that as well.
That's the rumor that I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
No.
Because I don't know how you fix that.
Yeah, that might be like a stamina or like
Yeah. Yeah.
he just doesn't have the juice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Okay. By the way, we already knew it, but Juan didn't put on the shirt, and now he's flexing about how he's undefeated in the shirt that he did wear. I hate this guy.
Fuck this guy.
I really hate this
Again,
guy.
I don't like the dark T-shirts.
I think they're going to switch it up, though. I think next game 5 is going to definitely be something different.
I think it was probably too late to switch it up after Game 1 into Game 2. They probably had the T-shirt design.
Right.
Like you got to order that shit well in advance. But if you really want that, and also they did win by like 43
100
points.
Yeah.
But just from a visual, from an aesthetic, I think the ratings would have been higher if they were wearing brightly colored shirts in the second half.
I'd agree.
Big Cat, you would not have gone to sleep.
I would have been so wired that I couldn't have gone to sleep.
Yep.
Isn't it like the best feeling though when you nail I'm gonna go to sleep early?
Yep.
'Cause you make the decision of like I do need sleep, but I like most of the time I'm like I'm staying through it. But I was like, you know what? This game is over.
Yeah,
and
it is a great feeling.
I didn't miss anything.
And there's no worse feeling than the opposite.
Oh, the worst.
I went to bed the other week and I was like, well, this episode of Last of Us is going to be exactly like the other 3 beforehand. That was a nightmare to wake up from.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our interview with Gilbert Arenas. Okay, before we get to Gilbert Arenas, truly unruly lemonade combines the high alc fun of truly unruly with everyone's favorite lemonade. Lemonade let loose. 8% ABV, 100% delicious. 4 supercharged lemonade flavors: Bumpin' Blue Raz, OG, Original Lemonade, Punched Up Pineapple, and Wild Pink. It's the official hard seltzer. Pardon my take. Level up your lemonade with Truly Unruly. Find it at a store near you or visit trulyhardseltzer.com. We love Truly. It is getting warm out. It's feeling like summertime. We got golf. We got the beach. We got barbecues. We got rooftop parties. Do it all with the best drink out there. Truly hard seltzer, a lemonade let loose. 8% ABV, 100% delicious. And like I said, 4 supercharged lemonade flavors. They got the Bumpin' Blue Raz, the OG Original Lemonade, the Punched Up Pineapple, my personal favorite, the Wild Pink. Go right now. Let's get unruly this summer with Truly. It's official hard seltzer. Pardon my take. Find it at a store near you or visit trulyhardseltzer.com. We're also brought to you by Cosm. Hank.
Yeah, we're brought to you by Cosm. So, I mean, as you know, it's been a bad week for me with the Celtics and Knicks and Jerry O'Connell, and I've been trying to think of ways to shift the tides and get some momentum back in my favor. And I was thinking out loud, and I was talking to Beef and Trent and Riggs when they were here recently because they were at the Cosm in Dallas. Unbelievable viewing experience. Feels like you're in the stadium. They show 400-plus live sports events a year, and they have one in L.A., and they have one in Dallas. So I was maybe, and we'll see, But maybe I end up in Dallas at
Maybe.
Cosm.
Okay.
Just
like
to try
that.
and get the Bing Bong shift.
Wait, you said that you have
away
one in
from me.
L.A. too, right?
They do have one in LA.
What if you went there with Jerry?
Oh.
I don't want to do that.
Oh.
But either way, Cosm's hooking up AWLs with 15% off round 2 NBA and NHL playoff tickets. Use code Barstool at checkout. I mean, have you seen the videos from inside this place are unbelievable. It looks like if you can't be in the stadium, it's the second best option. And it honestly might be a better option than being in the stadium.
Shorter lines for the bathroom.
Definitely shorter lines for the bathroom.
Yep.
You can just get in your car, get home. Traffic's probably not as bad leaving. But yeah, 15% off for all the AWLs. Use code Barstool at checkout. Go do it.
Love it.
See you there.
All right, here he is, Gilbert Arenas. Okay, we now welcome on a very, very, very special guest. It is Gilbert Arenas. He is joining us. He's got a new documentary out. It is on Netflix, Untold Story, Shooting Guards. Gilbert, first of all, thank you for joining us. We want to talk about the documentary. We want to talk about the NBA playoffs, some of your career. But before we do that, we were going to have you on last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and then your son obviously got in that car accident. Is he doing okay? Because that was obviously really, really scary, I'm sure, for you, but I hope that he's doing a lot better.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better. Yeah, I mean, it was a scary moment. It's teenage kids when they get these cars. You kind of get worried about him sometimes. 4 a.m. What was it? 5. It's about 5 a.m. He's coming back from working out before he went to school, and he said the car computer just malfunctioned, and then
shit.
ran into a fire hydrant and tree.
Damn.
That's scary, yeah.
Damn. So, and he's playing ball at USC next year, right?
Yeah, he's going to USC next year, and UCLA saved his life, so that's going to be interesting, right?
Oh, there you go.
We're big Musselman guys, so he's been a friend of ours for a long time, so he'll be in good hands. So the new documentary out on Netflix, like I said, Untold Stories, Shooting Guards. Let me ask you this: this felt like this was a long time in the making. It's obviously centered around you and Javaris Crittenton and the incident in the locker room. How do you feel like it came out? How like the story was told after you watched it? Were you like, this is pretty accurate to what happened, or do you think they kind of missed some things?
When it comes to like in the making, it actually wasn't that long. I really didn't care two shits about it. And when I heard Javaris was coming out, because he was in and it was 23 years, it was like, I'm not going to tell a one-sided story. Both parties need to be there. So, it was put on the back burner. When it comes to the details of the story itself, the locker room, it was pretty accurate. That's why I was joking so much during the time it happened. Like, it was a typical day. I mean, I know the guns, but it was a typical day in the locker room, a Wizards locker room. But I was intrigued on, what happened to him after. Because, sometimes when, situations like that happen, you go down two paths, right? You can, hide from the world, or you can be, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys, at the end of the documentary, it showed that you guys are still in touch to this day. Did you reach back out to him when he got out of prison, or have you guys been in touch over the last couple decades? Is that something that you guys went your separate ways and then you decided to come back and say, hey, check in on him? Or is that more recent?
No, I mean, even after, this wasn't an enemy. This was one of the closest guys on the team with me, right? Every time we was on a road trip, he'd come to my room, order food, right? And we just chop it up and, just talk about life and basketball and training. So, he was the closest guy to me besides like Nick Young. So, our beef mostly came because I didn't like the way he was talking to our teammates, right? Why he was losing money. So that's really how it started. So like even right after, once I realized, man, if the NBA do call us, I'll just take all the blame. So, they didn't use the text message where I text them. I think it was like December 21st, 2009. Like, yo, if the NBA comes in, just blame me. You didn't have no gun. I'll take full responsibility for this. And then, when his mom got I think she needed a surgery. Everybody kind of like turned it back on him. I'm the one who helped pay for it. So I've been there, the whole time. We went probably like a year without talking because he was mad at me because something I probably text on Instagram joking around. But I bought all of his cell phones that got him put in the hole, right, for the last, 8 years. Yeah,
Right.
I was supplying him his cell phones.
So what are the more interesting parts of this this documentary? And I was a fan of these Wizards teams, so I remember watching it. How fun you were! You guys were kind of out of control sometimes, but it was a fun team to watch. There was no mention of Deshaun Stevenson in the documentary, and I feel like his playoff battles against LeBron, where he would just openly antagonize LeBron going into the games. That was so fun. I know that you guys had some rivalries, some bets. I know you competed in a 3-point shootout against Deshaun, right? And
yes.
What were the rules of that, and how much money was on the line?
The rules were I will shoot one hand. It wasn't even a rule. It was just one of those things that so it started with Roger Mason. So for some reason, they had this idea that Roger Mason was a better college, high school 3-point shooter than me because they felt that, you only shoot threes, today's basketball, threes and layups.
Right.
So I said, what are you talking about? I bet 20 grand I will beat him. I'll blow him out, right? So we was in Boston, went to a gym, beat him, and then while I was bragging, Deshaun Stevenson started talking. So I said, bro, I'll beat you with one hand. I'll bet you 20 that. And then, other people took that bet on his side, which was weird.
Yeah.
So we bet 20 and I beat him with the one hand. I didn't take the money though.
Yeah, I think the stat line that came out of that, you went 73 for 100 from three, flat-footed with one hand.
Yeah,
and then
76, don't shoot me three.
Jesus. Yeah. And then you ran it back against Nick Young, and you brought $100 grand in cash in a duffel bag into the gym, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was a few years later. I was here in Los Angeles. Yeah. He didn't show up. I think I went 90. I probably went 95, 96 from three.
Jesus. So that's like whenever the debate comes out about like NFL players playing in the NBA, NBA players playing in the NFL, obviously everyone has their side, but I do think that like the regular world doesn't understand just how good NBA players are at shooting. Like in an open gym, you guys just don't miss. Like, would you just, when you were practicing, would you just go 100 in a row, like not even thinking about it? Because if you've ever seen it, even the guy on the end of the bench can just make every shot when they're in an open gym.
Yeah, when you're in an open gym, it's literally everyone is a great shooter.
Yeah.
It's practice shooting. You're in your own comfortable environment. You probably got earphones on, right? The gym is smaller, so it's not this wide open space. What happens is some people can't translate the crowd, the atmosphere, the bigger arena. They don't know how to gauge the distance. And, as much as I shot in a practice gym, I shot in the NBA gym also. So like night before games, I'll have them put the floor down and one rim up, and I'll sit there and shoot thousands of shots.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think about like the way the NBA and basketball, both college and NBA, have gone? Do you feel like, man, I missed my era a little bit because it is just threes and layups. A lot of these teams are doing the analytical thing where, like, I know you shot a lot of threes during your career, but I bet you if you were playing in the NBA right now, the coach would tell you to shoot even more threes.
Yeah, listen, I love this generation. I love the era. The star players are doing what star players do, right? The Jokic, the Sheas, the Brunsons, right? The star players they just have a different game. What analytics has done has taken players that shouldn't touch the ball, right? That shouldn't shoot the ball, this freedom of shot.
Right.
Right? Where you have your fourth or fifth best player on the court allowed to shoot 4 or 5 threes, right? Like, we have to get this total of 50 threes. And then you start looking around like, okay, if I'm Tatum, okay, I got 8 of them. Brown, you got 8. Hey, coach, we need about 40-something more. Where are we going to get them from?
Right.
And then, like, Derek White raising his hand, like, wait, hold on, guy. You got paid for defense. Play defense, right? You're not going to be chucking 10 threes up. And that's what ended up happening in this new analytic where they're trying to fill all these 3-point quotas, and you guys are not 3-point shooters.
Right. So speaking of that series, and I know you watch ball every night, it's stunning that the Knicks are up 2-0 in this series. What do you take from those first two games? Because like part of me says like, oh, the Celtics are going to eventually make some threes, but also it does feel like the game gets close late, and Jalen Brunson is that type of dog. And like almost like the Knicks are in their comfort zone when they're behind, and they come back and they put the pressure on the Celtics. The Celtics have completely like pissed down their leg late in these games. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, every time I've watched them lose, it's the same motto. They're going 10 for 60, 15 for 45. It's not very great shooting percentage from the three-point line. It's like these guys are living and dying by a three-pointer. Yeah, you're going to go up 20, but you get caught easily, right? It's not like you're going up by 20 and then now beating them to the basket and, getting this free throw. Like it's threes or layups. And right now they're just living on threes. And I said it last year. I said the Achilles heels is if they have these horrible shooting nights from the three-point line, they don't actually take enough twos.
Right.
To cushion that. And you play, I argued if you play a team like Giannis plays old school basketball. He's going to get you in foul trouble. He's trying to make layups. They're going to beat you.
Right.
You play against Brunson. Brunson plays old school basketball. He's going to layups, mid-ranges, try to get you in foul trouble. He's a foul baiter. And then last 5 minutes, he's the closest thing we have to Mamba mentality. Mm-hmm. The real Mamba mentality, like, from 96 to before he passed. Not after he passed and it became, watered down version of what Mamba mentality was. The Mamba mentality, the selfish thing no one liked, that killer mentality that wants to take over the world. That's what Brunson has in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's been crazy watching this series, and I don't know what the Celtics are going to do to adjust because it seems like they've just tried to shoot their way out of having bad shooting nights. And maybe something happens when they go to a different arena. I don't know, but the old saying is like the role players play better at home, but the Knicks role players have been playing pretty good on the road right now. So I don't know, if you were coaching the Celtics, do you just say, listen, we got to stick with what got us all these wins, with what got us a championship last year, or do we need to tweak something because what we're doing right now, it's not working?
Last year is last year, and we have a new year playing against a new enemy, and this enemy has came back twice while we were up 20. Yeah, we're up 20, but we're losing at the end, so we're doing something wrong. Me personally, as a coach, I've watched us lose and how we've lost, and for some reason, you guys don't realize that we've missed 5 or 6 threes in a row. One of you guys go make a layup.
Right.
At the beginning of the game, first person to shoot a fucking three, out. I'm subbing you out. I don't care who it is at this point, because I need to reverse engineer what they're doing, because obviously they're closing out on a three. They're playing for the three. Jason Tatum, Knicks went up. Jason Tatum literally inbound the ball, got it back in full court layup.
Yeah.
That's how easy it's been. You just go to the basket.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
You remember the hardest team that people no one really paid attention to was the second year, or LeBron's first championship with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
When him and D Wade said, yo, we're not shooting threes this year.
Yeah.
And did you see how hard they were guard? Because when LeBron drove, D Wade dived, they was doing this double lob type of play, and nobody was ready for two guys with 40-inch verticals slashing and dunking. That team was really hard to guard. And I that was the best LeBron. And, they put it in their minds, we're not going to be sitting here chucking threes and bailing the other team out. Like, you guys, Jalen, and Tatum is the most athletic dudes on the court, and you're doing sidestep threes at 6'9" and 6'10".
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought like the craziest possession in the whole game was when the Knicks were coming back, and there was that possession where Horford was under the basket and Brunson had fallen down, and Tatum had the ball in the corner shooting a three with like 3 minutes left. All they got to do is get a bucket to stop the Knicks, and he takes the three, and yes, it's a wide open three, but he also had a wide open Al Horford standing under the hoop, and it's like, just get the bucket, just get 2 points or get fouled just to stop what the Knicks are doing.
Yeah, I just don't understand who's doing the math on the analytics. Like, who is actually mathing the analytics? You're shooting 63s, you have 105 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how that's mathing for you guys, but that is horrible.
Yeah. And now, obviously, game 3 could happen and the Celtics could shoot 50% from 3 and win by 30 and we'd look stupid. But that's, you're playing on the razor's edge where it's like, if you get cold for a few games, you're out.
Yeah. I mean, one of those games, you're right. They're going to shoot 45 to 50-something% from the 3-point line. They're going to win by 30. In a 7-game series, that's a one-gamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
One-gamer and a one-halfer.
Yeah.
And you better hope it happens in the second half, not the first half.
Yeah.
Like it's been doing.
Yeah.
What about, so we talked about it, the Pacers have been incredible in these playoffs. They're up 2-0 on the Cavs. The thing that strikes me is like similar to the Knicks, where in these fourth quarters, they've 2 out of the last 3 games, they've come back from 7 down under a minute. Is it as simple as like they are better conditioned than the teams they're playing, and it feels like they still have gas in the tank at the end of games, whereas the opponent just kind of runs out of gas, and it's like maybe it's because they play at such a high pace, but it does feel like when they get to the fourth quarter, the other team's got hands on hips and hands on knees, and they're just still running and going right at you.
I mean, when you're talking about the Pacers is no different than like the Phoenix Suns was, right? Their style is running and trying to run you out of building. New Jersey Nets 01, 02, or 2000, 2001, when Jason Kidd got there, right? They're conditioned, but when you're talking about like somebody like Donovan Mitchell, he's conditioned to do what he does. What happens with some of these comebacks, and when you're talking about Indiana versus Cleveland, when you have this free-for-all, everyone gets to touch and shoot the ball, the last 5 minutes is your stars game, right? The first 43 is team play, right? The Bulls, we got the triangle. Last 5 minutes is Michael Jordan, right? We've watched it. If you look at how the game is being played now, Cleveland Cavaliers, last 5 minutes, team basketball. Everyone gets to touch it. We all did it. This is a team project. And what happens is some of those guys who are not built for the moment don't realize score time and possession. Everyone's not smart. Everyone's not the fucking quarterback on the field. You do got some dumb bots out there that's playing. And they've done missed 0 for 4. They don't know time and possession. They don't realize there's a 13-0 run, and he wants to shoot a 3 because he's open. You're open for a reason.
Right.
Because they know you're dumb enough to shoot that shot. And they usually do for the most part. Now, when you look at the Knicks, there's only one person getting the ball last 5 minutes, and he's going to dictate every possession. Same with Indiana. Tyrese is going to dictate every possession. Now, Cleveland, Garland being out kind of hurts them because now Donovan has to play the point and the shooting guard when he's just better at being the shooting guard, and let Garland actually figure out the great plays that he needs to make when you don't score.
Yeah. So how would you work that out? I assume that you've played on some teams where somebody else thought that they were the man at the end of the game, and I know that you probably always knew that you were the man at the end of the game that was going to need the ball. When it comes to somebody that thinks that they're the guy but they're not, how would you go about letting him know, hey, fuck you, I'm the man, give me the ball, stop taking those shots?
That's usually already established in practice, training camp, one-on-ones after practice, right? We've done already established who gets the ball at the end of the game. The only person that can offset that is the coach. Right? When coach and analytics say, hey, everybody gets to touch, we're all equal here, this is a team sport. That's the only thing that goes into play when you're talking about who takes these last shots. But like Brunson, he didn't just get to New York and everybody was like, hey, you take all the last shots. No, he's earned that through battling them every day in practice, them in training camp, and hitting big shots throughout the beginning of the season. And he's like, yeah, that's the guy right there.
Yeah. So looking out west, I got to bring up an old take of yours. You said Jokic was the worst MVP to ever win the award. If SGA wins it this year, is he worse than Jokic was, or how does that work out? Who would then be the number one worst?
Okay, it was more clickbaitish, right? I'm very good at wordplay. So I said he will be the worst. So if he wins the next one, he'll be the worst 3-time MVP in the last 40 years, right? Because it was like, so I looked at so basically when I said it and you say Jokic, MVP, and worse, everybody forgets anything else you're saying, right? They're already offended. So I added 3. So there's only 5 people that's are 3-time MVPs. Those 5 were in that time frame as Magic, Bird, Jordan, LeBron, and Jokic. At that time, he's going to rank 5th, right? Instead of saying 5, I say worse. Right. It just sounds better for headlines, right?
That's smart.
But that was, more of it, just, trying to corral it.
Yeah.
Well, what if he becomes the worst 4-time MVP? I don't think anybody's been the worst 3-time and the worst 4-time MVP.
Ooh, 4-time? I mean,
that's LeBron and Wilt.
LeBron, Wilt.
I think
MJ.
MJ, yeah.
LeBron, Wilt. But in my time frame, yes, he would be the worst because it'd be like LeBron, MJ, and Kareem and Kareem.
So what does he have? So I guess, is Jokic better than Bill Russell?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jokic has to win 5 MVPs then.
I mean, okay.
Because then he wouldn't be the worst 5-time MVP because I think 5 and up is just Jordan, Bill Russell, and Kareem.
Yeah, it's just depending on your time frame.
He'd be, the second worst 5-time MVP.
If you use all of NBA, if you narrow it down, it depends on how you want to do it these days.
So if he wins 5, he'd be not the worst 5-time MVP. If he wins 6, he'd be back to the worst because you'd have Kareem over him. And then if he wins 7, he'd stay the worst.
Yeah.
He'd be the best and worst 7-time MVP.
Like when you're talking about MVP and when you're talking about like these debates, right? For some reason, everybody wants to use the team award first. You want to use championships when it's actually the opposite. When you're talking about someone's personal legacy, it goes off of how dominant was he individually. And then team stuff is later on. So when you do a point system if you look at the top 10, you will realize them championships is irrelevant when it comes to your individual awards. Scottie Pippen has 6, right?
Yeah.
There's guys who don't have rings in front of him on the all-time list.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You got Karl Malone in front of him. You got John Stockton. You got people who don't even have one in front of him because his 6 is not valued like Michael Jordan's 6. But if you take away Michael Jordan's rings, he has 10 scoring titles. Right. He has 6 MVPs. He has defensive award. It shows his personal dominance. Jokic's personal dominance. When he's done, you have to argue he's top 1, 2 best centers ever.
Yeah,
right? The only person who you remove rings, the only person who is going to be standing tall over him is Kareem.
Yeah. What about Shaq? Because you could always say like Shaq is maybe the most dominant.
Yeah, and when you use the word dominant, you gotta say, like, what kind of dominant are we talking about? Are we talking about breaking rim dominant and just brute force dominant and we're scared of you dominant? Or just sheer, I'm out here just manipulating the game, taking over dominance, right? When you hear Shaq say dominance, I'm like, yeah, because I know how that looks, right? You breaking rims, pushing people down, right? There has to be a 40-minute timeout because they got to get a new rim in from Best Buy, right? I get that, right? But what Jokic is doing and how he dominates is dominant also.
Yeah, I think he's the one guy that the ring conversation is fair. It's like the team that he has around him, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that the Nuggets have a bad team around him, but he doesn't have like a genuine top tier superstar. I think the stat was he's never played with an all-star on the Nuggets, right?
Yeah.
So, but when he's able to take his team to a championship, he's literally making everybody on that floor, 2 times better than what they could be. And he's the main reason why they get that ring. So with him, I actually do think it's fair to be like, yeah, he won a championship over some of these other great teams.
Like, yeah, him winning a championship and Giannis winning a championship with the teams they had. I mean, it is like, wow, that's you guys are way better than you get credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've watched Denver. We like, okay, Murray, you should have won an all-star. You should have made an all-star.
Yeah.
Like, you're that player, just for some reason voters went against you. So you are that guy. The rest, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Michael Porter Jr., I don't know how many teams he would start on. Christian Brown, I don't know how many other teams you actually start on. I'm pretty sure Gordon can get away with, he can beat another 4-man out, depending on what team he's on to start. So, 3 of their starters, you're like,
Russ, triple-double guy.
MVP.
Yeah, I
MVP.
mean, the Russ that we love to hate. At this point, you're like, you know what? I don't know a Russ I'm gonna get today, but we're gonna watch and just do one of these and see how it works out for us. But Russ was one of those guys where I know Jokic is gonna love him, and I knew the coach is gonna love him because he does something you just can't teach, and that's just go hard.
Right. Yeah. All the time. Just
go hard. Just, hey, go hard. And you're like, all right, I can do that.
Yeah.
And that's what he does all the time.
Yep.
You mentioned clickbait. Do you have anything to say for getting got on the fake Charles Barkley quote, which was very funny? You were dressed as a clown on your podcast, and then you had a whole discussion about Charles. But the fake quote was basically Charles Barkley said, if LeBron and the Lakers lose this series against Minnesota, I don't want to hear about LeBron being a top 5 all-time player. He never said that.
He did it?
No. I'm
It
pretty
sounded Charles Barkley.
I don't think so. I think you got got. Which,
Charles
by the
Barkley.
way, we live on the internet. We get got all the time. It's just part of the game. So, wait, you didn't know that was? I don't think that was a real quote.
No, I didn't know. I mean, but it's still Charles Barkley. So yeah,
that's true.
I'll jump out the window. I'll jump out the window again.
Yeah, you went in on him. You said, what were you doing when you were 40? You were fat in Houston, complaining about trying to get on the treadmill and stuff.
No, I'm just going off of that's real, though. That's what happened, right? Like, I was a big Charles Barkley fan. I was the guy that wore the Suns. Back then we, in the black community, we used to put words and, logos in our head for some reason. And I had Phoenix Suns where I can go back and forth, up and down, and it still spells Suns. So I was a big Barkley fan. So I remember his career.
Yeah.
So listening to him now, talking about, going at Kevin Durant, you're not a leader. And then, you guys are just quitting and you guys are not out of shape and you guys don't play defense. I'm like, wait a minute. Do you not remember who you were when you played? You're talking as if you're not Charles Barkley. I'm not a role model. Like, what are we doing here? So I always nitpick at some of the things he says because it doesn't match who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the quote, I'm looking at it right now, it looks like it came from Goatman23, at Goatman23.
You got to source these quotes, Gil.
So everything that you said was in theory true about Charles Barkley. It was just Goatman23 started the conversation.
Yeah, he started the war there.
They got me. You know what I mean? But because it's Charles, I can't take it back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one of those situations where you got, but you're also like, it totally could be true.
Yeah. Okay, look, this is my thing. I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm a LeBron fan because of the greatness that I see. Like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Magic. I love just pure greatness. It intrigues me, right? So when I see, I was in the league when LeBron came. I know what they said. I see what they said when they turned on him. I've had to do scouting reports in the playoffs against this kid when he was a kid. Watching him now, I'm like, yeah, he is that dude, has been that dude from the beginning. Listening to the narratives that's been said about a guy who, if I said, all right, name 1 year, 1 full year, he disappointed you as a fan, you're not going to be able to name 1 full year. You can name a series, a couple games here and there. But when you're talking about, did he give you your money's worth? You have to say yes. For 22 years. When you sit here, compare his 20th year, 21st year, 22nd year to a young Kobe's career or Michael Jordan in his prime, it's like, wait a minute. You didn't even put Michael Jordan Wizard years to Michael Jordan Bulls years. You just let the Wizard Michael Jordan just run around the league, smoking cigars, drinking before games, having fun. That's what 40-year-old men did, right? We're just happy to see a drunk Jordan out there running around giving people 20. It was amazing.
That's a valid point, because Michael Jordan's Wizards years, it was like a sideshow. We knew at the time this doesn't really count. This isn't really Michael Jordan. If LeBron did the shit that Jordan did later on in his career, we would be making fun. We wouldn't be glazing him like you are today.
Yeah.
What'd you call Bozo the Glaze? Is that what you called yourself?
I'm a glazer. Oh, now, I'm a Laker glazer, and now I'm a Luka glazer.
Oh, you are? Do you think he's out of shape?
No.
What?
33, 9-9.
Okay, but do you think he's out of shape? I'm not saying that Luka's not incredible. I'm saying Luka could be in better shape.
In better shape, yes.
Okay.
But the notion of saying, okay, let's just try it this way. Let's say you guarded him and he gave you 71. Mm-hmm. Are you really going to just use the phrase he's out of shape and he just gave you 71? No, he's going to be in the best shape of his life if he put those type of numbers on you. When you're saying someone's out of shape and then you look at 37-7, it kind of makes the people who are in shape not look too good. Like if you're Anthony Edwards and you're in shape, and then the fat man over here led the series in scoring and assists. I don't know if I'm sitting here at the podium like,
Okay, but counterpoint, I think I love watching Luka play basketball. I think he's a top 5 player. He's so much fun. He's so skilled offensively. Do you not think that there's like, hey, man, you're 26. You could probably get into the best shape of your life and take it to that next level where it's like you are truly unstoppable now?
Yeah, he's in, him, Jokic, right? I even remember Carmelo. He is in Luka shape, right? Right? He's in the shape that he knows that he's in. That's just like a lot of NBA players, right? You think what you're doing is, I'm in shape, until you go to a team where someone does something more than you.
Right.
So in Dallas, what he did is all he knows, right? I've never seen anybody on that team that I said, okay, that's a different condition guy, right? If he played with a Rip Hamilton, if he played with a Westbrook, now he's with a LeBron, right? With a Steve Nash, guys who do that extra cardio, who really actually get to that top tier level of in shape. He's never played with that guy to even know what that looks like.
Right.
And sometimes we can go our whole career and don't know there's these extra levels. Unless you're in a locker room with Kobe, you don't know there's an extra level to working out.
Right.
We'll get back to Gilbert Arenas in a second. Part of my take is brought to you by McDonald's all-new McCrispy Strips. New McCrispy Strips are here. It's chicken made for dipping. Tender, juicy white meat chicken with a golden brown peppery breading. It's chicken so good, it deserves its own sauce. The creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. It's a sauce that's creamy, savory, and sweet with a little heat, but it works with any of their sauces. These chicken strips are so good. The McCrispy Strips are elite. We have them in the studio right now, and the entire studio smells incredible. I'm going to eat some of these right after I'm done with this ad. The new McCrispy Strips are one of my favorite things that I've had from McDonald's in a very, very, very long time. Memes brought him in for an ad the other day, and he tried to walk away with them. I said, Memes, you leave those right here. I'm going to finish them. They're delicious, and the new sauce, it's great. It is one of my favorite sauces, too. The creamy chili McCrispy Strips dip. Give it a shot today. Tell them Part of My Take sent you. New McCrispy strips with a new creamy chili McCrispy strip dip. It's chicken made for dipping, and it's only at McDonald's. Gilbert Arenas is also brought to you by our great friends over at Mountain Dew. The mountains are calling. Will you answer the charges? I will. I'm drinking my Mountain Dew right now. I got the Zero Sugar Mountain Dew, the old throwback retro-looking logo. It's an awesome logo. This is the best logo in the soft drink biz right now. Grab a Dew. It's got the new packaging, and enjoy the refreshing citrus kick. Nothing goes better with playoff hockey and playoff basketball and hanging with your friends than the refreshing citrusy kick of Mountain Dew. It's also the start of golf season. We're drinking dews when we're out on the course. If you're going on a boat, perfect time to grab a Dew. If you're chilling at the beach, at the lake, hanging out in the park, baseball season too. Going to a daytime baseball game, nothing pairs better than grabbing a dog and a Mountain Dew to go along with it. Grab a Dew in the new packaging and enjoy that fresh, refreshing citrus kick. And now here's more Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, did you ever have a guy in one of your locker rooms where you're like, oh shit, like I know I'm the best player on the team, but what he's doing, oh, you were that guy for everyone else.
I was that guy.
Okay.
And I didn't come in as that guy, right? We have practice at 11 o'clock. Our team as a whole unit got there, 10:45. We had some players that got there at 11:45, right? They had to golf first, right? So they had to play their golf and then come to practice. So that's what I was, looking at. And then, Chris Mullin basically taught me how to work out, added that with Mark Jackson. Then when I started hearing Kobe's stories of Kobe, when Luke Walton got there and he said, yo, if you think you work out, Kobe 3 times a day, this is how he does. On game day, he's there at 3 o'clock. I'm like, bullshit. He's not there at 3 o'clock. And I said, when we come to LA, I'm going to go to the Staples Center and I'm going to be there at 3 o'clock to see if he's there. 3 o'clock, he was there. And what I seen was incredible. He was doing elbow shots, 500 makes. The intensity of it was insane, right? Like he's doing a pump fake shot. The trainer had to be like, he had to jump and foul him and give him the contact. Full playoff game 7 mode before the game. And when I seen it with my own eyes, it clicked in. And that's why my game really improved, because I witnessed something that I didn't see the first part of my first year in the NBA. And now I see like what the next level look like. And every trip we went to LA, I was at the gym at 3 o'clock to watch Kobe.
Yeah. I also think the Lakers yellow doesn't really flatter Luka as much.
It's
when
not
you
a
see him
great
put it
fat
on,
guy
it looks
color.
like a big poncho. I think it'd actually be funnier if he got fatter. If Luka got like real fat and he could still, give you 30 on offense, that would be awesome. Watching like Escalade out there, just burying shots in your face.
Like I think it's this fine balance. The same thing with Jokic. The weight helps them in their style of play, right? They need the body with the contact, right? They're very great reactors. And sometimes they need to carry a little bit more weight, right? To do a lot of things that they do, hold people off. I looked at Luka's rookie year. That's going to be, that's going to be the skinniest version of him. And I'm like, yeah, we can use this one. Yeah, this extra burst Luka that can actually dunk, and he's a lot faster. That is the Luka we need. So, if he's sitting at about, I can gauge it, he's all of 6'9". Have you seen him in person?
I've seen him in person in the fact that I've watched him like live, but I've never been in the same room as him. Yeah.
Like he's all of about 6'9" and a half, right? He's a big human being, and he's probably sitting at about 260. If Luka can get down to about 230, 225, I really believe he's going to be MVP next year.
Yeah, I'd agree. By the way, we love on our podcast, we love dumb ideas. You have dumb ideas too. I saw one of the dumbest ideas that I kind of like, but I want you to explain it even more. You had the idea of make it, take it in the playoffs, that you start the series, and if the home team wins, they just keep getting home court advantage as long as they keep winning. Why this idea? Like it does seem the best ideas are the ones that like your knee-jerk reaction is that's stupid, and then you think about it more and you're like, oh shit, that would be kind of fun. So how did you come up with this idea?
Like I'm thinking about like when you're talking about 2 games here, 2 games there, 1-1-1. You're just looking at the back and forth, and it's like if we were playing just 1-on-1, and that's what a series is 1 versus 1. Why am I giving you the ball? Like you have to earn this, right? So I'm not giving up home court advantage until you beat me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like take it from me, and then we can go down to your hometown and we got to take it back from you. But, obviously this is a business and it has to be, we got to go to your building so your fan base can win some, I guess, so you can pay your bills in a sense.
Right.
But,
yeah. Right. All right.
If it just comes straight to hoops, I want to go to your hometown, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I do. It would be intriguing because, like, if you win game 1 on the road, it's like, all right, we're going back home right away. That's pretty sick. What do you think about? I have a dumb idea. I actually pitched this to Adam Silver. I don't know if he's going to take it, but I have a dumb idea that every player should get one fight a fan a year, where you can call out a fan, and then they fight it in the middle of the court, and like there's no laws. Like if you beat the fuck out of the fan, you don't get arrested or anything. That would stop fans from mouthing off all the time.
No. It'll stop those fans from mouthing out. Then you're gonna have them MMA guys.
Yeah, well, you get to decide. You get you see a cauliflower ear, you're not calling them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of like the idea, but like I see someone like a Westbrook really using it really early, I think would be probably mad that he didn't save it for that one fan.
You could use it in trades, though. Like, you could be like, hey, we want to trade for Westbrook, but you also have to trade us a fight a fan, so he gets an extra one.
Yeah, it's like an asset, like a draft pick.
Yeah.
Listen, we're thinking about signing Dre, so we're gonna need a couple more fight a fans this season.
We're gonna need all your entire team's fight a fan if we're gonna get Draymond.
Now with the fan,
there's only a few guys that I can see really using it. Isaiah Stewart, pretty sure he will use his.
Draymond would use his in like the first quarter of the first game.
I don't think when you watch Draymond's antics, it's in real time.
Yeah,
right. It's like these real times. Like he gets hit in the elbow, and then now he wants to overfling. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't see how a fan gets under his skin. He doesn't get easily moved by fans.
That's so it's true.
Mostly just Westbrook at this point.
Maybe Dylan Brooks. Yeah. He might mix it up.
Probably. It'll just be some random quiet guy that we don't know of, and he's just sitting there. He's done had enough, and he just points you, meet me in the middle. And you're like, oh, yeah, I wasn't like ready to fight.
I want to go back real quick to the Thunder and the Nuggets series. So it's 1-1. They're going back to Denver. Is Denver, like, they get home, are they happy with how things went in Oklahoma City? Because at the end of the day, they flipped home court. They got the first game, but then they just got their ass kicked the second game. So how do you think that team's feeling right now? Are they confident?
Listen, I personally don't think they're confident, because even game 1, you was getting built to ass, right? You end up coming back, but it wasn't. It was a comeback, but it wasn't really. You didn't play very well, right? It looked like you was getting manhandled. You was bad body language from Jokic in the fourth quarter, and then they end up making a comeback. Here, you just got the doors blown off. I don't know what you take from game 2 nor 1 that actually helps you in game 3.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with New York. Like, New York, you were getting beat down the first, like you're down 20. And just sheer willness gave you those. So you have something that you can say, hey, I don't give a fuck what they're up. We got this. Going into the Garden, which is going to be bananas, right? I don't see how Denver goes home and they're like, yeah, don't worry. That was just, we stole one, guys. Let's just defend our home court. I don't see what speech that Men in Black can really give.
Yeah. Your college career at Arizona. I have a question about Arizona basketball in general. How are they not good every single year? Because it feels like the greatest place to go to school as a basketball player.
Yes, I mean, the weather, the women,
Right. That's it.
the atmosphere, the fan base. It's one of those things where, when you're talking about just West Coast basketball, like when you're talking about like the style of play, Arizona is obviously is West. So, you still are competing with the legacy of UCLA, right? You probably get second fiddle, but you're still in Arizona. And then, from there, it's, those guys try to stay close to home as much as possible. So, getting the LA kid out of LA, literally UCLA and USC aren't recruiting them. Then they'll look outward. So for the most part, after Luke passed, those West Coast kids kind of stopped coming. So it seems like they're getting back to what they used to be.
Yeah.
They recruited, my son very hard. He just wanted to stay home.
Yeah.
Musselman, who coached me, called him every single day. Right? I didn't even know they was talking 2-3 in the morning, about basketball, about working out, right? So, Musselman had a hand up on everybody because he actually called him every day.
Right.
Knowing that, that he's gonna reclass. I don't think everybody realized he was gonna reclass and be a senior. So most of the guys didn't really recruit him like that. And Musselman was there from the beginning.
If your son goes on to play in the NBA, or what are you going to tell him about playing cards on the plane?
I told him, listen, I was great at cards.
It does sound fun. Every time I hear about it, I'm like, what's better than that? You and your boys playing cards on a plane? Like, no one wants to be on a plane. Pass the time with a little gambling.
Yeah, don't be an antagonizer. Realize that losing money is more important than how much they're losing, right? Just the idea of losing money is, it was more of the problem than $1,100.
Right.
To this day, I don't even know how much he was down to be that mad, right? Some people say, I won about $4,000. It was like $4,000 to $6,000 is how much he was down. And for that team, that's like losing $300,000 because they only played for 20 a hand.
Right.
Yeah. Right? When you're talking about, like, I was with LeBron and Richie and them. Well, LeBron wasn't playing, but Richie and Mav and them and Larry Hughes, we was playing 500 a hand. And I'm on a big contract and I'm still like, whoo, right?
Yeah.
I was hearing, games that they were playing $1,000 a hand. So that means, everybody puts up, there's 4 players. The game already started at 4,000. You get 2-2-1 in the boo. You're talking about, you got boo for 4,000. Now it's 8,000 in the pot. Now you got 3 people who have the ante back up, right? You're looking at $11,000 and you just started the game.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the type of motion I wanted. So I will tell him, listen, win money like a real winner. Don't brag. Don't be mean. And if you do, hold a taser, right? Tase the fuck out of that.
Did you hear from anybody else in the league that, like, after the incident went down, they were like, hey, man, now they're telling us we can't play cards on games. What the fuck? Why'd you do that?
Nah. No one cared.
No one cared? Because I feel like at the time you might have thought this whole thing was going to blow over.
It happened on the 21st. We left Phoenix, so it was our Phoenix West Coast trip, flying back. Happened on the 21st, I think. And then the story didn't leak until, I think, New Year's. Right? So it was like, because to be honest, the shit we did in locker rooms, right? It's basically having jackass inside of a building and only you guys get to critique each other, right? So there's been paintball shootouts in, locker rooms, right? Shootouts. Like, Nick Young tells a story that I shot him in the back with a BB gun in the middle of a gun awareness meeting by the NBA. Right? They just came to my house while I was asleep, and him and Andre Bloch, they paintballed me in my bed. Right? The night before, so they decided that they were gonna protect themselves with BB guns. Because I froze my paintballs, and I was gonna be shooting frozen paintballs at them. And then I went in their locker, seen a BB gun, and I was offended. You're bringing BB guns to the locker room to have a. So I went in the locker room. I went into the meeting. They're in the middle of a meeting. I went to his back and pulled it. Pah! And he's screaming, ah! BB stuck in his skin. And I was like, oh, so where were we at? And then just put the gun down and just.
It was a very funny. It was a very funny team. When you look at who was on there, you got obviously Nick Young and JaVale McGee,
Andre Bloch,
all those guys.
Deshaun Stevenson, and then we had those championship minds. We had the Karan Butlers, the Antoine Jamesons, the Brennan Haywoods, the Eton Thomas. Too serious for my blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. We had the I call it the Jacqueline Hyde type of locker room. You had goofballs and really serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did the team ever was the coach ever like, how do I get control of these guys? Like a substitute teacher, like, I can't control the class right now.
In the locker room, he didn't come in the locker room. Like in practice, we were serious. I didn't realize it until when someone asked me, it's like, why did you do the things you did in locker rooms? Right? I thought you was this serious guy. I thought you worked out. I thought when you got to the gym, you did this. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I did. And then he's like, all right, so explain to me your routine. And then I was like, okay, I got to the gym about 5, 6 o'clock. I took my 400 or 500 shots, lifted, sauna, right? Took a nap. And then, 10:30. And then I was like, because I be in the gym by myself so much, right? I'm in a gym at 11 p.m. to 1, then I get back in. Majority of my working out, I'm by myself. The only time I seen those guys was during games. Couldn't do that in a game day, but in practice. So 10:15, 10:30, when everyone's there, it's like PE for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I didn't have the concept of these guys are getting ready for practice. I've already done my shit. What's up? Let's have fun. That was my problem. And I didn't notice that then, that when these guys came in, it was recess.
Right.
For me personally. So I just wanted to just have fun before we had the practice.
Yeah, so that makes sense. It also sounds like you'd be our setup here. We have a full court and we have everyone coming around and we do basically jackass shit. So I think you need to come take a visit to our headquarters.
Hey, y'all got a job? You got a job?
Listen, you sound like it'd be a
I'll
lot of
leave
fun
these
here.
motherfuckers in a minute for some basketball and free time.
Yeah, it's recess here all the time.
I got one more question about the gun incident, because I don't think the documentary brought this up, but after it happens and before the story leaks, before the guy from the New York Post starts making phone calls about it, had you guys squashed it already? Were you and Javaris, like, were you cool?
Yeah. Okay. So look, even like if you listen to like I think it was Andre Bloch and Nick Young, once his gun came out, like, oh shit, this is serious. It was done after that. Like, you know what I mean? It was pretty calm after that because I know my forward didn't have nothing in him, so I knew I was safe. He had something I didn't know that was part of this little game I was playing. So, it was diffused right then, and then we both went into the jacuzzi because that's what we did before practice. We both went into the jacuzzi, and then we was having our conversation, and I'm like, yo, why are you so serious? And then he was like, man, you just take too much shit like, he's mad at me because I'm joking too much. I'm mad at him like, no, you're arguing over $1,100. And he's mad at me because this is what actually happened. It was a 2-2-1. He got booed, so he had to re-up the pots.
Yeah.
So if nobody wins the money, and it goes 2-2-1, that means there's 2 ties. Everybody has to re-up. If you don't get no book, so like if you know how to play spades, imagine if you don't get a hand, right? You didn't win a hand, you have to match whatever in the pot. So I guess this was like his second time matching the pot. Earl went out, JaVale didn't take any cards. So most likely he had all trump, 4 trump, 3 high trump. And from what Earl was, never mind. That means he had ace, king, and queen, meaning he was going to win the money and possibly boo to both of us. Javaris needed 5. So that means he didn't have no trump. So I'm already laughing. I had 3 trump. I said and showed my hands like, yeah, I'm not going to be a part of this fight, and threw my cards in. That was the thing that he was mad at, that I didn't help him in this fight. I didn't help try to make it 2-2-1.
Right.
Yeah.
You left him out, to dry.
I left him to dry, and that was like, yo, you're my guy. See, there's these things in the NBA where your personal relationship needs to overweigh the game rules itself, right? So if me and you are best friends and there's $8,000 in the pot and you have a king and I have an ace, and I hold my ace to the end, I'm going to give you the money, but I'm going to boo you so the $8,000 can get back in there.
Yeah,
Right.
It makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
If I did that, you are taking that very personal, because we have a relationship and we don't supposed to do that to each other. And I'm like, shit, I want the $8,000 back in the game. So I can't win this 8,000, but you got to put it back in. I'm going to boo you.
Yeah.
That was more of it, that I didn't help him fight for the money or fucking get booed with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you did the crime, you do the time, was my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. I also like the idea of you guys squashing it in the jacuzzi afterwards. Like, the other guy doesn't have a gun at that point.
I'm gonna just be honest, man. After it happened, we was fine. The only wedge we really had was kind of like during it. It was like during the trial and stuff. It's like, wait a minute. Like, I heard what your lawyer said. Do you believe the lie that y'all are telling, or is this we still playing? Because you already got off. You got what's the name. So you don't need to make this kind of statement. The fact that you already got basically a slap on the wrist in a sense of what happened here. Because technically the story's opposite. I never touched a gun, never held a gun. No one seen me with a gun. I just said, yo, those are mine. I did that shit, right? I was just standing on business, right? So the fact that you pulled yours out, the gun was pulled on me technically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that, everyone thinks I pulled it on you, I'm willing to let that narrative run, because I know if we go to court, the real story can be told.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the only riff. After that, it was more, this is my little brother, man, and I'm gonna, hang with him. So, I used to, text with him in jail, send him phones. Like, we was, behind the scenes talking, trying to keep him from, going into that dark place, talk about basketball, so from, 10 years, it was more of the, hey man, how good is boom, boom, boom? Like, we was always in the talks.
Yeah. All right. I got one last question. This has been so much fun, Gil. We appreciate you coming on. You have great, this untold story on Netflix, but everyone should go also listen to Gil's Arena, your podcast, which is awesome. Roback question, RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-Zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts, Roback.com, promo code TAKE. Last question. You gave Lamar Odom his payment for Big Three while he was having sex?
Yeah.
Can you tell me? I don't understand that.
Okay, so since I was the captain, right, I got the checks, handed them out. Oh, no, everyone got their own check, but Lamar wasn't there yet, right? So, I get word we're in Charlotte. So I don't know if he drove there. I don't know what happened, but I had his check. So I was like, yo, when you get to town, I got your check, just hit me up. So I get a text. It was like, yo, I'm at the hotel. you around? I was like, yeah, I'm in my room. He was like, yeah, can you bring my check? Bet. All right. So I was like, what room you in? He gave me the room number. I go knock on the door, right? He literally, like, it wasn't, like creak the door open, I got to hand it to him. Because this is the first time I meet Lamar. Right?
Yeah.
This is the first time I meet him. He swings the door open. Come on in. Butt naked, like, oh, man. But before I, looked away, I see bent over, nice rack. I mean, nice back. So I had to, look back. And then he just goes, she's bent over the bed. And he just starts going in, and I'm like, and he was like, yeah, just put it right there.
How quickly did you get out of the room?
Right, I didn't move that fast. I mean, I had my eyes. There was some eyes. I've been around some wild dudes. Never.
That's crazy.
Never seen that like that. Like I'm like Lamar's wild.
That's so funny.
It even got so I heard the story of game one, which I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Game one, they said after game one, I wasn't there, right? I had court. After game one, they said he has his phone. He's in the shower watching porn. Mm-hmm. Like he said, they said, yo, he's watching it like it's a Netflix series. He's just sitting there, yeah, man. Hey, how y'all think I did today? Yeah. And then there, Rick Mahorn is talking to him, and he's just sitting there like, hey, so do we still get paid? Yeah, no matter how we did? Oh, that's gravy. That's great. And he's just watching a full-blown porn like it was regular TV. Oh. So when I heard the story, I'm like, nah, he can't be that wild until that right there.
Then confirmed it. He's watched every porn on the internet. He made that claim in 2015. He'd seen every single porn.
Yeah, he's a historian.
I will say, I would believe it. If you just finished playing a basketball game and you're in the shower and the first thing that you are watching is porn, that says
that's fair.
He had to catch up on the new episodes. You can't get behind.
Yeah. All right. Well, Gil, thank you so much. We'll definitely have you back on, man. This was so much fun, and we really appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Fyre Fest of the Week is going to be brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. We know that life comes at you fast. Hanging on to a 20-point lead is difficult, but calling Morgan & Morgan is easy. When you find yourself in the middle of your very own Fyre Fest, you just might need America's largest injury law firm in your corner. Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people and helping with your Fyre Fest for over 35 years. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. You can check them out at forthepeople.com/PMT. That's forthepeople.com/PMT.
Okay, let's wrap up. We got Fyre Fest of the Week. Let's start with Max. Max.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Hey.
Doing good, Max.
I thought we'd surprise you, surprise Hank. He's not so happy to hear your voice.
Is this later tonight, or is
Hank's
this?
Always happy to hear my voice.
Is this in real time?
Yeah. So how you doing, Max? You have a Fyre Fest this week?
Yeah, I do have a Fyre Fest. My Fyre Fest of the week is time zones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in Hawaii right now. I think it's about a 6-hour, maybe 7-hour difference. I still don't know. I can't figure out the time zones out here. And I keep looking forward to watching Knicks Celtics every night that they play. And somehow I just keep missing the games. Do you guys have any updates that you could give me of what's going on with this series?
I was thinking about you, Max, because you must be so far behind in Hawaii that it's still early in the second halves there. Mm-hmm. So right now you're thinking that the Celtics are winning.
Yeah, up 20.
But turns out they lost both games.
No, they didn't. I'm pretty sure I saw that they were up 20 in both of those games.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Well,
Hank, this bit is so bad that even Jerry O'Connell said it's just for the record. You're going to hear that tomorrow, but
damn. Okay. All right. No, I get it. Hank. You're upset.
I'm not. That wasn't me saying that. That was Jerry O'Connell saying that.
Yeah. I guess that it's super embarrassing that Jason Tatum has now taken the crown of the worst playoff performer in the Eastern Conference.
Ooh. From who?
Joel Embiid for a long time was known as the worst Eastern Conference superstar to play in the playoffs, and Jason Tatum simply has worse playoff stats than Joel Embiid, and that's a fact.
I mean, Max, this is
one stat that matters most.
Pretty flimsy.
You want to go look at him?
Oh,
yeah.
Let's
Go look at the one stat that matters most.
Go look at him.
Stat matters most.
All right, give us the stat. Is this the take that you were marinating on?
Oh, yeah. Jason Tatum is just as bad of a playoff performer as Joel Embiid is.
This is so pathetic, Max.
Stats back it up.
All right, he just pulled a second computer. Max has 2 computers out.
That is correct.
Go ahead, Max.
Jason Tatum has 24 points per game.
That's not bad.
On 43% shooting.
Not terrible.
43% shooting is bad, significantly worse than Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
He has 8 assists and 8 rebounds.
Okay.
24, 8, and 8. I'll sign up for that all day.
This guy
5
sucks,
assists,
Hank.
5 assists, 8 rebounds. 24,
5 assists, 8
and
rebounds.
5 and 8.
Joel Embiid, 25 points per game on 46% shooting, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks.
I have a question for Max, Hank.
PFT.
Max, this is PFT commenter from Part of My Take. Which one of those 2 players has missed more playoff games?
What does that mean?
Oh, Hank. Do
you want us to rephrase it, dumb it down for you?
Okay, so
I have an answer, then I have a follow-up question.
Okay, Hank. Same question.
The answer is
Those
Joel
are just
Embiid.
numbers. Those are numbers.
You're doing numbers right now.
Is there any numbers about head-to-head stats?
There's number. That's a team stat.
Got it.
That's team stat. Now this is
That's a team stat. We're looking at individual player.
What about in elimination games? What about in
Jason
elimination
Tatum
games?
has time and time again not showing up in the playoffs.
What about in elimination
the
elimination
stats back
games?
it up.
What about in elimination games, Max? Because that's when you need to show up the most.
That actually, Jason Tatum had 1 good elimination game, which is even
Just
crazier
one?
that his overall stats are that bad with a 50-point game.
Okay,
And
so
what about,
multiple good
what about
elimination
Eastern
games,
Conference
but-
final stats, head-to-head? Like when it matters the most, to get to the finals.
What is that?
Which guy has better numbers?
But are you saying that all playoff games don't matter?
No, I'm saying that the Eastern Conference finals matter more than the
You
first
just said
round.
that all playoff games don't matter.
what
Because
about
they all matter the same, because to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you got to play well in the early games.
You're terrible.
What
at
about
taking vacations.
what about
you came
the
on the
fact
show
that-
for this?
Yeah, what about the fact that Joel Embiid's a loser?
What about the fact that Jason Tatum would also be a loser if he wasn't playing for the Celtics?
No, that's a good point.
Sometimes organizations
Jason
matter.
Tatum would be a loser if he wasn't a champion.
That's true. Max,
He played horribly in that championship and was carried by the rest of his team.
I hate that you're making us defend Hank and
well,
Jason Tatum right now.
Here's what's
4-1.
happened. Here's what's happened.
I am simply just reading the facts, and that they have the exact same numbers.
This is what's happened.
Hank went numbers for numbers with the Thunder and the Celtics going into this series. All I'm doing is doing the same thing of numbers for numbers between Joel Embiid and Jason Tatum in the playoffs.
Here's what's
Numbers
happened.
for numbers. That's what he kept saying.
What's the games played number?
Look, what do the numbers say?
I'm just curious. I'm asking. How many games has Tatum played versus Embiid?
He's looking it up. He's
very
looking
fair
at his
question.
second computer. This is unfortunate because this is unfortunately Max is having a great time in Hawaii. He's sitting on the beach.
I would
He's
never
doing his
come
thing.
on the show from Hawaii.
But-
I'll say that right.
We know that. But here's the problem, Max. This sounds like a take. You texted us last night. You said I got a take I'm marinating on. And this is one of those takes
I wanted a couple days to marinate on this take. To be fair,
Yeah.
I thought I had to bring it out.
Yeah. So this is unfortunately one of those takes you've been marinating on. But usually when you marinate on a take, you'll at least do a trial balloon to me and PFT, and we'll be like, "Hey, Max, this is probably the dumbest thing you could say, and it really is going to make you look stupid." And then you won't say the take. Unfortunately, we're not around, and this isn't going well.
Why? You haven't given me any response other than that he's played more games. The same numbers.
The fact of the matter is that Jason Tatum just won an NBA title last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
But he played badly in that finals. Jason Tatum did not win that finals.
Listen, I'm not saying
He actually didn't play that.
I'm not
bad
saying
in
that
the
Jason
finals.
Tatum has had
Then Joel Embiid hasn't played that badly either. They have the same numbers.
This is a tough argument,
Why?
Max.
Why?
Jason Tatum literally won a championship last year.
Yeah, he's got.
They're also going to win the
The
series. That's where it's like you're
Celtics
going
won
to.
a championship last year.
Okay.
The Boston Celtics won a championship last year. Jason Tatum is a part of the Boston Celtics, but he is not the entire team.
Max, this take would be perfect if you let it marinate for a little bit longer, let it soak a couple more overnights, and if the Celtics get swept by the Knicks, then you could come over top with some of these stats, and then you could be like, "So what have you done for me lately, league?"
Yeah, this is a take,
and it would be
if
good.
The series was over.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's a series over.
The series is not.
You know what it is?
To be fair, I did say I wanted to marinate over a couple days, and then I was asked to bring the take today.
Max gets
You said you brought up the take yourself.
What
and then
would
Vic
2
said,
days?
You want to come on? He
Yeah.
said yes.
What would 2 days
You
of
could have
help
just said
this take?
no. I'm on vacation.
Nope.
All right.
Max
so,
gets a Villanova Pope, and all of a sudden he thinks that he's infallible too. Mm-hmm. Feeling yourself, Max.
The numbers are the numbers. That's all. All I wanted to do was bring up numbers.
All right. Do you have a Fyre Fest?
Yeah, time zones.
Oh yeah, time zones.
Good
Time
point.
zones.
Yeah,
How
it's all the game.
How's Hawaii been?
And just walk. You have to
Hawaii's
walk.
actually incredible. Let's get a view from my room over here.
Breaking.
Let's get a room view.
Hank is so salty. I love it. Oh, that's a pretty nice view, Max.
Yeah, it is good.
There's some turtles that go down in that little corner right there. I don't know if you can see my finger. There's some turtles. Every morning I come out and I just go out and look at the turtles for a little bit. Mr. Pears, all of his grandfathers and ancestors.
They're all just hanging.
They're just hanging out. Vibes are high. People are just coming up. I wouldn't have even known about the Celtics Knicks unless the people that were in this resort were just so excited to tell me that the Celtics just keep blowing leads.
Yeah, you texted us last night that you stopped watching the game when they were up 20, and then someone came up to you at the pool and was like, "Hey, did you see that?"
Yeah, I know. I actually didn't believe it. I thought someone was looking at a box score from the game before. I was like, there's no way that this actually happened twice.
It's been pretty crazy, Max. They just keep shooting threes and they keep missing.
Oh man,
I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. Wait, didn't Hank say that they were only going to lose? What was the number? 2.5 before the finals?
2.5.
Yeah, I lost
Oh
that.
shit, that's an over, right?
Cash it. Yeah,
that's cashing over.
Yeah, you can cash that over, and we're not even halfway there yet. Okay.
Hank also said though that if they went down 0-2 in the series, he wouldn't be worried. So he's not worried. But then he was a little bit worried. But then he's not worried again.
Counterpoint: he did tweet after that game that he was worried.
Yeah, no, I updated it.
Yeah. Update has been worried. All right, well, we miss you, Max.
don't.
Are you going to get us some gifts?
I already got most of them.
Oh,
I already have some for everyone, but I'm coming back with extras.
Did you get me a titty mug?
Did you get memes of titty mug?
To be determined.
Okay, what about don't spoil the gifts, but is there a chance I'm getting another Pope bobblehead?
To be determined.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So those are both no's.
Yeah.
Nova Pope. Put your V's up.
No Pope.
For Vatican.
No Pope.
No one knows what this means for recruiting. You literally don't know. It's never been done before.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. All right, Max. We miss you. We'll see you Sunday night.
Yes, for sure. I will be there Sunday night. Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, same playoff performers.
Okay.
Same.
All right.
Exact same.
Thanks, Max. See ya.
Exact same.
All right, that was our good friend Max. He's gonna be back on Sunday. Hank, how did you think that went for him?
Bad.
Yeah.
Does that put a smile on your face?
Yeah, that actually had the reverse effect where it's like Max came on here, thought he had, discovered the nuclear atom, and it was just like, but Tatum's won a title.
I mean, it's good. Like as his boss, it's a good thing to file for like the end of year reviews. Like, get better at vacations because that's just horrible performance.
He is bad at vacations. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, he seems like he's having fun.
He's a quantity over quality. He's kind of like the Celtics. Takes a lot of shots at him, misses.
Yeah. Hank, do you have a Fyre Fest?
Yeah, I do. When I was flying to Arizona, you guys know I fall asleep on planes. I also have had a history of getting a little woozy on flights. Mm-hmm. And this one was bad. I fell asleep on the way there, and I kind of came to as we were, the pilot comes on. It's like we're starting the descent, and there was some turbulence. And as I was waking up, I was like sweating, like I felt nauseous, and I couldn't get up, and so I had to hit the thing a bunch, and ask. There was no barf bag in my seat.
Okay.
And so by the time the flight attendant came over, she handed me a bag, but it was like 50%. Like I legitimately projectiled
What?
into this bag. It was like all liquid. Like it was just all
You
the
puked on a flight?
Yeah.
And you only got half of it in?
And like I had my sweatshirt
Oh, Hank.
and a ton got on my sweatshirt, and the guy next to me, I was like, this guy must think I'm an absolute creature.
Did you hit that guy?
There was a seat in between us. So he didn't get anything on him, but it's just it's a terrible spot to be in. You feel like a mutant, and there's nothing you can really do or say other than sorry.
Yeah.
And I had just woke. I was super discombobulated, and I felt gross, and it was gross. That was my Fyre Fest.
Oh, Hank.
That's pretty bad.
That's really bad.
Did you say I'm sorry to the guy?
I said I'm sorry to the guy. I said I'm sorry to the flight attendant person in front of me. It was, they're all nice, like, oh, don't worry about it. But it was gross.
Oh, man, Hank.
That's
really
tough.
gross.
That's crazy.
One time Hank did that next to me on a flight. He had just had a Go-Gurt.
Oh.
And we took off, and it got a little bit on my arm.
It was like baby puke.
Yeah, it was kind of adorable. I just started patting him on the back. I said, they're there.
What happened?
I don't know. I think I just there was just turbulence in my...
That's just like, that's straight
sleep?
savage mode, just puke on a flight.
I know, it's mutant mode.
I feel like people used to do that a lot more frequently because they used to have the barf bags everywhere.
Yeah.
Now you got to ask for one.
I know.
That's how they get you. The airline's cutting back.
Yeah, it was, but there was nothing, because I couldn't have gotten up. It was in
Were you first class?
I was Southwest, so I was...
Oh, okay.
I was in the first section.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Brutal, Hank. It's been a bad week.
Really bad week. I blame most of this on Barcelona.
Yeah, that's true. Your beloved Barcelona. So when we were recording, the sound that you heard where Hank got really upset that they were losing and the moaning and groaning, Hank didn't realize that there were 2 periods in extra time. So Hank got up to leave, and they're like, no, Hank, you can come back and watch. There's more soccer. And then you got pumped, and nothing really happened.
Yeah, I don't think I can watch soccer ever again.
Oh, wow.
Great game by Inter's goalie, though.
That was an awesome soccer game.
The kid, I didn't realize that the Barcelona's best player is 17. That kid is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. That was tough. It's just not been your week.
No.
We'll try again next week.
Yeah.
Okay, PFT, your Fyre Fest?
I had a pretty good week this week, so I can't really complain about too much. But I did have one thing that happened to me earlier today. I think a lot of people can identify with it. It's a minor thing, but it felt bad at the time. I took a dump, and while I took a dump, I forgot to bring my phone with me into the bathroom. I don't know if you guys have experienced that recently.
Yeah, that sucks.
It is the worst.
Yeah.
It could ruin your day.
Yeah, because you just sit there and you're like, well, what now? What?
I just sat there and I thought. I was alone with my thoughts for about 7 minutes, and it's a shocking thing in today's day and age. I was looking for stuff to read, the Dude Wipes ingredients box.
Maybe songs to listen to.
Like in my own head?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't singing along to any songs in my own head.
Okay, nice. But you just, you're sitting there with your own thoughts.
I was humming a little bit. I was humming at the time. I forget the name of it.
Yeah. It's tough when you get a song in your head.
When you get a song stuck in
you
your
got to
head.
sing it to get it out of your head.
No, not always. Sometimes you just have to hope that it'll get out of there because you don't really, really, really don't want to sing the lyrics to this song.
Right.
Although musically, from a melody standpoint, it's a good melody, but the lyrics are like the worst lyrics that you could possibly write ever. Maybe the worst things anyone's ever said ever.
Yeah.
But the melody can get stuck in your head.
It's hard when it's a catchy tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the title wasn't something where you're like, why even listen to this in the first place?
Right.
I'd forget the name of the title to the track. I'll be honest. I've forgotten everything about the lyrics to that at this point. But no, you start to like think about, can I read the shampoo bottle? Can I read, like, is there anything with words on it in the bathroom that I can read to just make this go faster? But it was something that happened to us when we were kids a lot more. If you didn't have it like a magazine or something in there.
Yeah, it would just be magazines in there. And if you're screwed and you don't have a magazine, you're just like, all right, well, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, kids these days don't know the struggle.
No, they don't.
They don't.
I mean, that's Rick Riley and Bill Simmons. I feel like that's a majority of their fan base is purely
Sports Illustrated.
I think
shits.
Like 90% of Rick Riley articles were read to while there was poop coming out of somebody's butt.
Easily. Do you guys
highest compliment you can give an author?
You get caught to not taking a dump, but like if you're bored eating breakfast, you just end up reading the back of the cereal box.
Oh yeah,
That always sucked. That always felt bad.
the funniest was the part of this complete breakfast, and it was like 10 items in the complete breakfast.
Yeah.
Like 3 glasses of orange juice. Then you had the cereal with the milk. Then you had like a bran muffin on the side. Then you had yogurt. It was like, yeah, if you eat all this shit together, it's a full breakfast for you.
Yeah. I bought Lucky Charms for myself on Tuesday. 24 hours.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Full box of cereal is a great.
I just
Great spot
I
to be in.
crushed
Yeah.
it. It was a night and a morning.
I finished my Honey Nuts this morning.
Oh.
Honey Nut Cheerios, the GOAT breakfast cereal,
I
right?
got them on deck all the time. I got a backup.
I figured out a way to make them even a little bit better.
What do you got?
So I got
I'm a dessert cereal guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Rice Krispies treat squares.
No,
just
you're
like-
saying
like-
actually after dinner
Yes,
you eat cereal.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's dessert soup.
Yeah.
So I got a frother a few months ago, and I've been frothing everything,
Okay.
which it's kind of addictive. I just take stuff out of my fridge, and I'm like, will this froth? And I try to froth it. Most things do froth. I frothed my cereal milk the other day. Ooh. It was delightful. It was like a little mousse cereal.
That is nice.
Yeah, it was great.
That is nice. I've been doing trying to get healthier. Well, this leads into my Fyre Fest. I've been, we're reassessing after the kidney stones. Doing what?
The Lucky Charms is after this reassessment.
It's part of the
Yes,
complete
and
breakfast
the
tank.
timeline gets a little blurry.
Got it.
The timeline gets a little blurry. But I have been eating Cheerios and bananas.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Sugar?
no sugar.
Okay, that's good.
Honey Nuts or standard?
Standard. Yeah. I feel like that's the pinnacle of health, is being like, I'm just going to eat these standard yellow box Cheerios.
It's raw dogging Cheerios.
Yeah. You can't get healthier than that. I'm sure I'm probably already back. I am, though, did have the reassessment of the health is ongoing. Wednesday, though, I went with Eddie to do a video. We went to the Vienna Beef Factory, hot dog factory, and I ate like 10 hot dogs. Great people, awesome time, but
That's for work.
I basically just like remade a new kidney stone.
Yeah, I mean, what goes in hot dogs? Probably all healthy stuff, right?
Listen,
keto.
I told Eddie when in the video will come out, I told Eddie when we go into this factory, if I see something I don't like, I'm leaving. Because I don't want to I love hot dogs. I don't want them ruined for me. Was totally fine.
That's
everything looked good. Got to see how the sausage gets made. But yeah, that was a problem for me that I ate that many hot dogs 2 days after I passed the kidney stone.
That's fine. You'll probably be fine.
It was a lot of hot
The
dogs.
best time to eat a hot dog or anything bad for you is right after you get rid of a kidney stone.
That's true. There's a guy. There's at the Vienna Beef, and like I said, Eddie's going to put out the video. But 10:30 every day, they just test hot dogs in the kitchen.
I like that.
So I walked up there, and there was just hot dogs, and they're like, "Here, have as many as you want." And
Instead of a smoke break, you get a wiener break.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that's
eating
good.
chili. I was eating potato soup as well. I had 6 cups of soup.
Wait, that was part of the
Hot dog.
hot dog break.
Yeah.
So it's a hot dog, chili, and potato.
Yeah,
soup
they have
break.
different stuff. I had a hot dog that isn't even released to the public.
I guess if you work at a hot dog place, it's probably going to smell pretty bad in there. So they don't mind if you just fart all the time.
It was
with
the
chili.
opposite. It smelled delicious.
Did it really?
Because you got to also remember Vienna Beef, they're doing like pastrami's, smoked briskets. Like it smelled incredible. The smokehouse,
Yeah.
seeing where the hot dogs go and get smoked. Oh, it smelled so good.
Yeah, that sounds like a great trip.
Yeah. And that's why we got the Dicka right here. That was why Eddie's mission was to get that. So pretty big day.
Love that.
Yeah. All right. Memes, you got a Fyre Fest?
I had a great week.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was like top 10 weeks.
Is that because Max isn't here?
No,
But
but I
that-
just got the number 1 pick. Knicks have just shocked the Celtics twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mets are a wagon.
And Max
Justin
isn't
Fields
here.
is going to eventually win a Super Bowl. And none of the Georgia players have gotten any driving violations. So great week.
Huge.
That's pretty cool.
Huge.
What about last night?
No, can't think of any.
Can't think of a single thing.
Can't think of a single thing.
I did get to see Shane wearing his batting gloves last night.
Yeah. It's shocking.
Yeah, it was very shocking. And even more shocking is that he takes them off to
Yeah.
play first base.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we got smoked.
Smoked.
I was upset I wasn't able to attend. But I did say before the season started that I was not going to be there for any 6:30 games. I told my wife, I was like, I'm not home a lot. And to be like, hey, I'm not going to be home for softball
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, are we videoing this? No.
Hank
it's
did
just softball.
Hank did a fine job pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just too many unearned runs. It happens, and this isn't really a knock. I respect the hustle. A little bit of a try-hard move, but PFT's team was there an hour and a half early. They got a full BP. I showed up there doing situational plays. Each player probably hit like
Listen, they won. You
150.
can't criticize if
No,
they
that's
win.
what I'm saying. I hat tip. It's like we're never gonna try that hard.
I think I took 10 swings. Yeah. I did take 10 swings.
If we don't meet in the playoffs, we should schedule a game with when Max and I can play. So I did miss playing, but I also, again, 6:30 is a very early time. That's a witching hour in my house.
It was great. Also, to be fair to Hank, he was probably thinking about the Celtics.
Yeah, but at that point they were winning.
We had a TV. We had a TV on our.
Yeah, I was home by
bench.
halftime.
I was calling out scores to Hank. Just let him know. I wasn't even trolling him. I was like, Celtics are crushing the Knicks. There's no chance that they lose. I didn't think that they were going to lose.
Me neither.
No.
Yeah.
No. All right. Memes, but like 1% of that is because Max isn't here, right?
No, I like having Max around.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he's cool.
Okay.
He zones out
cool.
a lot, but he's cool.
He does zone out. He's got ADD. It's a problem.
When he goes on his phone, it's like Severance.
Hank,
It
when
just
He's looking at Campus Cuties.
yeah, you're like, why aren't you looking this up on his computer phone?
Hank, who were you talking about specifically when you said unearned runs?
I mean, our team had like 5 errors. So
Yeah.
Not
be
the best
any
defense.
one of them.
Yeah, not the best.
No one in
defense.
particular?
Listen, a lot of season left.
The guys that made errors.
2-2.
They
A lot
know
of
who they
season
are.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we play in the playoffs. That would be awesome.
It'd be great.
Yeah. All right. Numbers.
3.
6. Celtics and 6.
Knicks and 6.
What was your last number, Memes? 14?
13.
13. I'll go 13.
I'm going to take 61.
99 put. 73.
75. 75. Memes, not even close. Not even close to close. So far away.
Knicks and 6.
Love you guys.